Well, greetings and salutations, everyone. Welcome to the John Campea Show, the greatest movie show on the planet. I'm your host. Wait a minute. Wait, this is the John Campea Show, and I am your host, Robert Meyer Burnett, not John Campea. John's voice was feeling a little thrash. You could hear today on the show, so I agreed to fill in and read some questions. Your questions, your super chat questions. We want to make sure you all get those answered. So I am here to fill in, to answer some super chat questions for you guys. So I hope they're great. Send me your fastballs. Here they come. This first one is from Mad1306. Funny how people won't accept Batman and Superman killing, but Disney, known for family-friendly things, makes murderous Avengers all the time and sell toys. Well, you know what? That is a pretty astute observation. Look, as far as I'm concerned, the way it goes is the world is a tough place. This idea that if superheroes existed in the real world and they're fighting people that are bent on world domination or world destruction, as in the case of Man of Steel, what option are you left with? I mean, these are not people that go out, they don't leave their homes to kill. They don't mean to kill. They don't want to kill. But sometimes people need killing. And in the course of saving the world, people die. So, but it's interesting you point that out. Zachary Buckler says, hope you're having a good day and have a great weekend. Well, Zachary, we did have a great weekend. We had a good day. We actually recorded more podcasts for Best Movie, Worst Movie. Check those out. I'm really happy to be doing those with both John and Olympic gold medalist Cody Miller, who's one of the nicest guys I've ever met. Bush and Ryucat says, thanks for that companion vid Thursday. With the success of Alita, can you see Cameron and Rodriguez making a live-action Astro Boy? Is it still relevant? I would love that. They made an Astro Boy film less than 10 years ago, didn't they? Like live action or something like that. I didn't see it, but I remember it coming out. I think an Astro Boy movie would be great. I love the design of the character. Astro Boy was always something that I liked, so I'm all in on that. Bring it on. Brett Brooks says, Avengers Assemble. Snaps Avengers theme in Avengers 4. I don't know. That's interesting. I think the Avengers theme's got to be there. The snaps, I don't know. Is there going to be more snaps? I don't know. But I think there's definitely going to be the Avengers theme in Avengers 4. Fred says, hi, John. What's your favorite comic book movie poster? I love Nolan's movies, especially The Dark Knight Returns, with Batman's broken mask and Bane walking away and Heath's why so serious. That's a good question. I'm not John. I hope Rob here, being me, is okay with you, Fred. But my favorite comic book movie, you know what mine is? Okay, this is old school. The Rocketeer. The Rocketeer from like 1990. Now, The Rocketeer was, of course, based on Dave Stevens' wonderful comic, unbelievable art. But the poster, the Art Deco poster with the Rocketeers blasting across the poster, my favorite comic book movie poster of all time. It's so cool. Look it up. It might be the teaser poster. I don't know if it's the release poster, but it's really good. Dan M says, hoping for Sif or Jane in Endgame as Thor has lost so much. I agree with you. I would like to, you know what? I don't know if any of us are the biggest fans of Jane. I love Natalie Portman, but I'd love to see Lady Sif come back. Thor has lost a lot, and he deserves a little bit of joy in his life. I think you're right, Dan. But I'd love to see Lady Sif. The Warriors 3, even. Why not? Drew P says, how big of a role will Red Skull play in Endgame? That's really interesting. I don't know. They have to address it. I mean, he's on Vormir. What, is he just hanging out now that the Soul Stone's gone? Is he still there? Does he get released from his duties? I don't know. I want to know. I want to know what's happening there. Does Gamora come back? We know she was doing reshoots. She must be coming back, right? Will she survive? Will there be an unsnapping, or will the snap have never happened? I don't know. And if the snap never happens, will will the Avengers remember that it happened? It's going to be very interesting to see how they play with that time travel tropes. And I don't know, but I would love to see the Red Skull come back because I love the Red Skull. That would be awesome to see him come back. What a great moment it was when he shows up in Infinity War. I didn't know that was going to happen. I was sitting next to John Schnepp, the late, great John Schnepp. We saw that. We're both like, so I'd love to see the Red Skull come back. Spencer Smothers says, if I see another streaming service ad with a plus after their name, I'm going to lose it. Of Of course, there's Disney Plus and what Apple Plus or something. I agree with you. It's not exactly the most a streaming service should, unless you have a cool name like Criterion, which by the way, their streaming service went live today. The Criterion channel's live. You gotta do better than like Disney Plus. Come up with something better, like like the streaming Magic Kingdom. Admittedly, that's probably not very good, but I agree with you. The plus, too much. Antoine Taylor, or not enough. Maybe the plus is not enough. Antoine Taylor says, I saw the show yesterday and I agree that going to movies is becoming too expensive. I have a family of 5 and can't justify the cost of going often. Antoine, I think you're right. I mean, even with matinee pricing, a family of 5, and I'm sure all those kids want popcorn and candy and sodas and all that. And you got a park, you got gas. I mean, that's a huge proposition. And what do you do with a family of 5 when Endgame opens? Are you screwed? Is there something you can do? Do you get to go sneak away and see them by yourself? I would expect those 5 kids are demanding to go see a little Endgame action. So you that's tough. I don't know. I feel for you, man. Good luck with that. I hope the family loves Endgame, and I hope it doesn't break the bank for you. Mahir Hawk says, love the show. Have you seen A Simple Favor? Well, even though I'm not John, I can tell you that John has said this many times on the show. He loves A Simple Favor. I loved A Simple Favor. Very unexpected. Paul Feig directing, of course. And I thought it was a lovely movie. I was totally blown away by it, totally intrigued by it, did not see it coming. Really enjoyed it. I know John loves the film too. Good old Uncle Sidious says, as time travel seems to be involved in Endgame, do you think we will see the Black Order returning? I hope so. I love the Black Order. I loved Ebony Maw, Corvus Glaive. Yeah, they were great. Proxima Midnight. I hope they come back. I like them. Any other characters you'd like to see again? Honestly, I would love it if Quicksilver came back from the dead. I know he's resoundingly probably dead forever, but I liked Quicksilver. I'd like to see him come back. I'd like to see how Scarlet Witch reacts if he comes back. I mean, I'd love to see that. I think it'd be great. Will they save Stark's parents? Don't know. Could be. Zenjambu says, hello, John. Your thoughts on the Sister Act 1 and 2? Well, as I said, I'm not John, but I can tell you I enjoyed it was Sister Act and then Sister Act 2, Back in the Habit, right? I like the first Sister Act. I don't think I ever saw Sister Act 2. I think I lost a Schmodown question because of that. But I like the first Sister Act. They were good. I mean, Whoopi Goldberg is a deft comedian. I think she was a great presence. I'd like to see her in more movies even today. I mean, I really loved her in Ghost. Of course, I love Color Purple, and Sister Act was a perfect vehicle for her. So, yeah. Melvin Rosa says, John C., I have to applaud your fans. They have the best questions. I can sit all day and read. Thanks, guys, and thank you, John Campea, for all the good material. I agree. Since I've been on the show with John Campea, Melvin, I've been astonished by the intelligence and the thoughtfulness of all the questions of the people out there. I think it's great. I think you guys ask great questions, and you make them a joy to participate in reading. I love answering them in the mornings with John. I think it's a lot of fun, but I agree with you. Santez Henderson says, rewatched Battle of the Bastards and Winds of Winter, the 2 best episodes of any show I've ever watched back to back. Is there anything that compares? Santez, dude, I think you're absolutely right. I think those 2 hours of TV are 2 of the best hours of television I have ever seen. Talk about satisfaction. I mean, first of all, the Battle of the Bastards is so good. And then when the High Sparrow is just, shop is wrecked. I mean, the Green Fire, it is so awesome how they play that. There's that great piece of piano music playing at the whole opening of the last episode. It is so good when all the pieces are put into place before Cersei enacts her awesome plan to free King's Landing from the religious tyranny represented by the High Sparrow. I love that. You're right. I don't think there's been any 2 hours of TV in any television show that's better. I go with you 100% on that. I will back you up to I was going to say the wall, but the wall's not there anymore. Gaming with Aaron says, seeing Us, there was a group of teens that were screaming extremely loud, and you could tell it was obviously all fake just to be obnoxious. Screaming consistently to be disrupting and annoying sometimes. I hate people at the movies. Gaming with Aaron, I got to go with you there. I don't like it when people do that. It's rude. What is the point of ruining other film goers' reactions to the movie. I like to think that inside of a movie theater is kind of a holy place. Unless it's a Southern Revival movie theater, where the Spirit of the Lord is full and filling up the house of movies. I don't think movies are to be. You got to respect the film. You got to respect your fellow film goers and the filmmakers. I mean, you got to let the movie wash over you. Be quiet. Don't disrupt anybody else's experience of the movies. That means don't talk, don't text, don't do anything. Treat films as if they are holy artifacts, and they are. Animal Bajpai says, when we hear about Sony Marvel deal renewal or state, that's good. When will we hear about the Sony Marvel deal or the renewal or the state of the deal? That's a very good question. I don't know. I mean, from what I understand, they were able to make a couple of Spider-Man movies, and then the rights to Spider-Man revert. But I would think that they'll keep it going because it's been a fruitful partnership. I mean, Venom proves that Sony's got a good thing going. They've got Morbius in the pike. So I would say that, yeah, it's I'd say it's probably a good bet they'll renew it, but we haven't heard when or if, but I think they will. Larry Warren says, in Infinity War, we see thanks. In Infinity War, we see Thanos power up after he collected a stone. This happened on every stone except the time stone. Any significance? I don't know. That's really interesting. Yeah, it was almost like he was feeling the power. As I like that as it surged through him. You're right, but the time stone. Maybe he'll feel the power later, or he felt it in the past. Could be. I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know if it has any significance because the snap still worked, but maybe it does have a significance. Maybe it's a different time stone from a different. I don't know. It's very interesting. That's a good catch. I'm gonna have to go back, and now you make me want to go watch Infinity War again after the 158th time. Kevin Bennett says, 20% discount on DC Universe annual membership valid through April 1st. Offer code BAT80Clark DC DCU. Well, we missed that. Sorry about that. We missed it. But that was good. Thank you for sending that in. I wish I'd used it because I would have signed up. I haven't seen Titans yet, and I can't wait to see Doom Patrol, and I'm really looking forward to Swamp Thing. The drawing board says, if Thanos isn't in Endgame, will some fans rage? Well, I think we know now that Thanos probably is in Endgame. But I think, look, I don't think fans need that much provocation to rage. I think raging fans are now part of the culture. But yeah, I think if Thanos wasn't in it in some way, shape, or form, people might be pissed. I'd be kind of disappointed. I kind of want to see what's his last word on the subject. What does Thanos have to say about all of this? Does he think the snapping, the decimation was a good thing? I'd like to know. I'd like to see him come back. Funboy says, first super chat, John. Been watching you and Mark Ellis since 2012 and met Mark, and we'll see him again on April 12th. Did I say 2014? You said. Love to meet you. Can we have a movie date? Well, I can't speak for John, but I think it's not whether or not you ask John if you can have a movie date with him. It's whether you need to ask his wife. You have to ask Anne. I think Anne wears the pants in that family, and John does whatever Anne tells her. Actually, John does whatever Anne tells him, not tells her. No, I don't think that's true. I'm just trying to be funny. They have actually a pretty balanced marriage, it seems like. But yeah, I think that it's great. Thanks for watching, both John and Mark. I love Mark. I think he's great. And it was great to get to know him on the Schmodown, and I wish him all the best with his future endeavors. That's cool. You're seeing him on April 12th. Report back. Tell us how his show was. The drawing board asks, James Marsters is such a great brainiac in Smallville. I agree. James Marsters is such a great thing, whether he's Brainiac, whether he's Spike. I love James Marsters. He's great. So, yeah, absolutely, 100%. I'm a big fan. I think he should do more. I want to see more of him. And he was great as Brainiac. Manny Mitsuta says, or Mitsuta? Manny Mitsuta. What's your take on Jordan Peele's comments? I want him to tell the stories he wants to tell. Poor words, but he's right. Minorities are just now getting their due. Well, here's my thought on this. I did a whole show on my own channel, Robservations, about what Jordan Peele said. And what Jordan Peele said basically was that as a man who grew up biracial, in the black community, he's somebody who said, look, I've been watching horror movies my whole life with white protagonists. I'm a black man, and I relate more to black people. And he said, I don't know if I could make a film with a white protagonist. I think, in my mind, from my perspective, that's perfectly okay for him to say. I mean, if you look back and you look at the current statistics, Black Americans make up less than 14% of our nation. So if Jordan Peele just went, as he said, he goes, I grew up watching horror movies with white male protagonists. Why not do what I know? And he had a Black protagonist in Get Out, and a Black family in Us. And from my perspective as a film goer, I appreciate his point of view. And I appreciate the fact that we're going to get, one of the great things about Us is seeing a Black family and seeing what they went through from their perspective. I thought that's what really gave the movie its uniqueness. And I don't think he's saying he dislikes white people or doesn't want to work with white people. He's just saying that when I make movies, I have to make movies about more that are in my wheelhouse, more of what I know about. And I think it's fine. Remember, it's not like Us didn't have white cast members. I mean, he hired Elizabeth Moss, who's always great. I've loved her since Mad Men. And I think look, the more diversity that we have, whether it's in the stories that we're telling or the movies that we're seeing on the big screen, it's only better, because we're only going to get more interesting movies, different perspectives, which always is best in the long run. That's what I think. Carlos Hernandez says, do you think Marvel will use the Captain Marvel sequel to introduce Galactus, maybe as a cameo or reference to him? I think they'll save Galactus for a Fantastic Four movie. I really do. I think that the Fantastic Four is where it's at. Galactus belongs with the Fantastic Four, but I don't think that doesn't mean Captain Marvel can't reference Galactus. Maybe she's come up against him once before, which I think would be pretty cool. Cesar Rivera says, you ever run into fans of the John Campea Show? Well, I can't answer for John, but I do, and I did when we were in Las Vegas. We were in Caesars. The whole convention was at Caesars, and we were staying in Caesars Palace, which, by the way, was delightful. I love that place. I went to the Apple store that's in the Caesars Forum shops. So they have a huge mall. It's really cool in Caesars Palace. So I went there, and I went into the Apple store, and the guy that was selling me this cable I needed was like, hey, man, you're Rob Burnett from the John Campea Show. I was like, I love the John Campea Show. He said, my son and I watch it all the time. It's so great to have you in the store. Now, the next question you're probably asking yourself is, did I get my cable for free? No, I had to pay for it. But it was really cool running into a fan. And I think it's always cool. I think I speak for John when I say when we run into people, and I've run into people literally all over the place. I've traveled. I've gone to different parts of the country. I keep running into people who've seen the Schmodown, who watch me on Heroes with John Schnepp, and now are watching me on the John Campea Show every day, or the Weekly Hero with John. It's always a pleasure to run into fans, and it's always great when you can meet our viewers and interact with them, because usually, for the most part, you guys are great people. So it's fun. It's really fun to be recognized. I mean, it makes me feel like a real celebrity. Master Nameless says, Legend of Tomorrow new trailer is hilarious. It is hilarious. You know, I'm really digging Legends of Tomorrow. I like the fact that they've maintained this tone. They know what they wanted to do. They went out and did it, and they've kept that tone. Goofy fun is what I like to say. Get Legends of Tomorrow, goofy fun. I love it. Jose Mates says, I fell asleep watching Avengers Infinity War. Hoser Mates. Well, I'm sorry you feel that way. I've watched it 100 times, and I can't yet fall asleep when it's on. But I hope Endgame keeps you awake. I think it might, even though it's 3 hours long. We'll see. Loki God of Mischief says, what if the Dusted lived and it's the OG Avengers in an alternate reality simulator to Purgatory created by Thanos' use of the Time Stone to re-kill Vision? Well, Loki God of Mischief, that sounds just like something you would do. But I don't know. That's an interesting theory. That's very sort of leftovers. I mean, who knows? Who knows where the world went or what really happened? That could definitely be there. That could definitely be a twist. I don't know. I don't think it will, but it could be. Interesting theory. I like that. Geo, well, I guess you'd say Robbo with me. IGN releasing like 7 Alien shorts on their YouTube page, celebrating the 40th anniversary of Alien. There have been all of these Aliens shorts released. I don't know how many. I would say maybe there was 8, maybe there was only 7, but I would say 8 because there was 7 crew members of the Nostromo. Well, if you don't include Jonesy, and the Alien was the eighth, and famously, Alien was called in France the eighth passenger. So maybe 7, I don't know, but I would have made 8. They're pretty cool. Some of them are pretty cool. I like them. I haven't seen all of them yet, but you guys should check those out. I think it's really cool, celebrating the 40th anniversary of Alien this summer. Mike Lynch says, hey, John, over or under 50% we see Korg in Endgame. I love the show and keep up the good work. That's a tough one. I'm going to go a little under 50%. But Taika Waititi could have been there, could have visited the set. I think they got to bring Korg back because everyone loves Korg, and the Russo brothers know that. But I'm still going to go under 50% because there's so many characters to service. I don't know if they can service Korg, but you know what? The way they brought in the Collector in Infinity War, barely there, but he was there. I mean, there are people I would love to see Korg, and I think we might also get Hela coming back, but I don't know. I have no knowledge of that, but I'd like to see Korg. Let's hope he comes back. I think that would be great. Loki God of Mischief is back again. Do you think that because Doctor Strange can't see beyond his death, that the one outcome he was able to confirm is a win because it was the only one that he could see fully? Interesting. That's an interesting question. I don't know. Like, he couldn't see beyond his death. Like, maybe he did, though. Maybe he saw his own death. Maybe he has seen beyond his death because he hadn't died yet. I don't know how that works. I mean, that's very, very interesting. But I think that's plausible. I think what you say is plausible. Yeah, could be. Huh. Only one he could see fully. That's interesting. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, but I like where you're going with that. Jack Fitzgerald says, that report that Margot Robbie will be in Suicide Squad felt suspiciously like Damage Control until Birds of Prey is released. Over under 20% she doesn't return. You know what? She was such a fan favorite, and that movie did make a lot of money. I think she has an obligation to return. She's probably got some contractual obligation to return. But I want to see Harley Quinn again. Any chance to see Margot Robbie in short shorts and a tight T-shirt is a good chance. A good day. So I would like to see her return. Plus, I think her character is sort of integral to Suicide Squad. You got to have her at least for a little bit. But I think 20%. I'm going to go over on that. I think she's going to return. Going to return. Let's see. Jinuichi. Quote, Death Man is dead. That is a good question. What am I missing on that? I'm going to find out. I'm going to find out what this is because I want to know. Because it rings a bell. Let's see if I can come up with this. I can't. Oh, that's from Mystery Man. Death Man is dead. That's from Mystery Man. Not a favorite of mine, but a favorite of John Campea's. I think that's very funny. I remember that actually now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, Death Man is dead. You know, I got to go back and watch Mystery Man. I only saw it once, and I remember not liking it, but John loves it so much, I think I'm going to have to go back and check it out. Jethro Jethro AU, like astronomical unit. Beach Bum, final nail in the coffin from the Matthew McConaughey. I don't know. You know, Harmony Korine's an interesting director. They pushed it really hard, and I know it flopped. It did a big belly flop, but it looked really good to me. And I think Snoop and I think Matthew McConaughey probably had a great time making it. I wanted it to do better than it did. Melvin Rosa says, damn it, I'm so late for the show. Nice seeing you again. Just thought I'd support a little. Well, Melvin, first of all, thanks for supporting the John Campea Show. Very much appreciated. It's nice seeing you again, too, even though John isn't seeing you. I'm seeing you. I hope I do okay. I hope I'm not disappointing you. But thanks for supporting the show a little bit. We appreciate it. Every little bit of support that goes to the show helps us continue to do things and make things unique and creating great content. And I know for a fact that John is always looking for better mics and better equipment, and he's always trying to make the show better. So he uses these super chats and things and the generous donations everybody gives to this show via Patreon and everything to make it better. John's always trying to make it better, and thank you for your support for that. Cinefamily and Beyond says, Matt Reeves' Batman birthday tweet has script in the background. I didn't see that. That is good to know. It's been a long time coming. My God, I guess that's the final confirmation that we have that, yes, a script has been delivered. That's awesome. Geo is back again. Zion Williams is a beast, monster, and young god. Well, my MMA is not my forte. Wrestling is not my forte. I don't know who Zion Williams is, but I'm going to endeavor to find out. But if I believe when you say that he's a beast, a monster, and a young god, and your name is Geo, I think you probably know more than I do. So I'm going to say yes, that is good. He is a beast, a monster, and a god. Go Zion Williams. Roman Bryan is here. Any chance for a Dexter revival? Hated the ending. You weren't the only one. I loved Dexter. I've heard rumblings that there might be uh, a Dexter revival. I don't know if there will be. I hope there will be. I think people miss that show. And come on, he's a lumberjack in Alaska or something? Come on, bring him back. Bring back Dexter. We all want you to do that. AFC says, in cinema, which armrest cup holder is the right side? Well, I guess it would always be on your right, wouldn't it? It depends. I mean, I guess it depends. If you're on the end and there's a cup holder on this side, it would all be, I think it's one of those things you have to negotiate. It's part of the social contract. Like if you're sitting next to someone who's right-handed and they're left-handed, you got to negotiate. Got to figure out whoever gets there first. That's funny. I never thought about that, but that's pretty funny. I don't know the answer to that. I think that's a conundrum. I think that's something we all have to navigate in our personal space when we sit down next to a perfect stranger in a movie theater. I love that. Eddie Burton is here. He said, would you say that actors like De Niro and Pacino aren't box office attractions anymore since most of their movies aren't released in theaters? I don't think, look, I think that obviously De Niro and Pacino, both men in their 70s, they're not going to be like heading up action franchises or things like that. But I think it depends what movie they're in. I think if The Irishman, which is being made by Netflix, gets released theatrically, I think people are going to, Martin Scorsese, Al Pacino, and Robert De Niro are a potent box office concoction and a draw. So I think that would be great for them. Love to see it happen. Love to see that happen. But I agree. They're doing a lot of these smaller movies for like Lionsgate, Grindstone Entertainment, or whatever. And it really depends. I think when you have aging actors, it depends what role they're in. Christopher James says Spider-Verse continuity issue. Miles meets Gwen from the other universe before the machine got damaged. Did she? I don't know. That's Spider-Verse continuity issue. Miles meets Gwen from the other universe before the machine got damaged. I don't know. Is that a continuity issue? I'd have to go back and look. I have the 4K disc. See, now, Christopher, you make me want to go back and look. Got to think. Is there a continuity issue? I don't know. Storm Chaser 78 says Cinema Blend reports 2 hours ago that Avengers Endgame made Chris Evans choke up 3 times by Matt Woods. Thoughts on what that could be. I think Chris Evans got choked up 3 times when Captain America, Thor, and Tony Stark died. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. I think maybe the end credits that he was bummed out that the Infinity Saga has come to an end. I mean, think about it. I mean, these actors have been in these movies for like 10 years, man. It's crazy. It's crazy what they're doing. And I think there's got to be a lot of sadness. And the fact that the quality of these movies has been maintained and that you're looking at, of the 22 movies that have been made, 18 of them have grossed over not 18 of them, but they've made $18 billion collectively. Actually, somebody sent me a statistic that said if you average out the total box office with the 22 movies, or maybe it's the 21 movies, that all of them made over $1 billion. But the whole together, they've made over 18 billion. I mean, it's amazing the quality. How many people in their lives, what actors in the history of all of Hollywood have had this kind of a track record to be a part of something that's been this great, this beloved, made this much money? It's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. But I think Chris Evans would choke up 3 times. I would too. Maybe because he was thinking about how much money he's going to make in residuals over the years. Film Boss says, e.g. Mr. X, Endgame, Mr. X plot points. From the trailer, we think they solve this from entering the quantum realm, but maybe that's early on and it fails. Then they choose a course of action that fans aren't speculating. Film Boss, I think you're absolutely right. I think that we all could be wrong. I think they're messing with our minds. I really do. I don't think we know what's in store for us. I felt that way about Infinity War. When I saw Infinity War, there was so much in it that I hadn't expected or knew was coming, and I was delighted by that. I think for sure that they've been playing with our minds, and I can't wait for it. I can't wait to find out what they actually did. Pablo Diablo says, over or under. Cap says, some people like Get Out, but not us. That's actually pretty funny. I don't think Cap's ever going to say that, but that's pretty damn funny. Phil Wen says, $13 Creed 2 digital versus $25 Blu-ray. Tough choice. Yeah, man, because if you buy the Blu-ray, don't you also get the digital? You get the little card for the digital download. I'll always take the Blu-ray. By the way, find it on sale. You'll be able to find it on sale, like at Best Buy for less than $25. I don't know a name. Happy Batman Day. What's your opinion on Batman Returns? I'm a huge fan. First of all, Batman turned 80 last week. What's your opinion on Batman Returns? I love Batman Returns. I like Batman Returns more than the first Batman. I love Catwoman. I love Penguin. I love Max Schreck. I love seeing Christopher Walken in there. I really like Batman Returns. I think it's by far the best of the earlier of the 4 Batman movies. I really enjoy it. I think it's great. Melvin Rosa says, John Campea. Henry Cavill may be definitely the best Superman ever, but Tom Welling was the best Clark Kent of all time. Of course, this is just my opinion, sir. Melvin, I think there's a case to be made. I think Tom Welling was great as Clark Kent, especially, but he was younger. You know, he never really got to be the old Clark Kent, the grizzled reporter working for the Daily Planet and having to deal with being Superman. But I think you might be right. But then again, we need to see. I loved seeing the ultimate version of Batman v Superman to see more Henry Cavill. I really enjoyed that. So, yeah. Alex Spur says, who do you think is the best horror director right now, James Wan or Jordan Peele? Listen, man, for my money, I got to go with James Wan. Whether it's Insidious, whether it's Saw, whether it's the Conjuring films, that guy is the master of the jump scare. James Wan is the Alfred Hitchcock of the jump scare. I love his horror movies. They are very scary. Jordan Peele has made some really interesting movies. I don't know if I would consider Get Out a horror movie. It's more of a dark social satire, which definitely has fantasy elements. Us is, of course, but I got to go with James Wan on that. But I think Jordan Peele is very promising. He's going to get up there. Can't wait to see what he does next. Luke Blackwell says, John, will we get a Venom versus movie? I think the next Venom movie has to be that. Whether it's Carnage, whether it's somebody else, I think there's got to be a Venom versus movie. I think we need that. People want that. Venom's got to fight somebody. Really. One and Only Production says, got my Endgame ticket today. Will be the first time at an AMC. New theater opened here a few months ago and still had some Thursday tickets left. So excited. Well, what's cool is you're going to get a new theater. Hopefully it's in the Dolby. Your AMC has a Dolby theater and it will kick ass. Hope that experience is great. And by the way, report back. Tell us how it went. Tell us how the theater was. More importantly, how was the popcorn and the projection? James Wheeler says, I was very lucky on Tuesday. I got Endgame tickets for me and my wife, April 27th at 7 p.m. at the Cinemark XD here in San Francisco. About 20 minutes later, their site went down. Well, James, congratulations. That's awesome. Also, kudos to you for getting a wife that will go and see Endgame with you. Nicely done. Give her my love and affection. And I think you guys are going to be lucky. Report back. Tell us what you thought. We want to know. Tell us what the experience of the Cinemark XD theater was like, too. I think that's cool. And you got it in just under the wire. And you did not miss it by that much. You got it in, which is great. Marcus Robert Johnson says, hey, John, I became an AMC A-list member. The movie Us is what kicked it off, but for weeks they haven't had it in my AMC 6. I called and finally, and they said it was due to a film festival. What gives? Well, that could be. I mean, I know that we have here in like at the ArcLight in Hollywood, which is one of my favorite theaters. They do have frequently film festivals that take up their screens for like a week or two at a time. So that might be. So I would hold out and see what happens. I think it'll be okay, but check it out. AFC says Josh Brolin's voice for Thanos makes the trailers. Yes, so we know Thanos is coming back. He's got some great lines. He is a very good one-liner man. He's got some great one-liners that come out of his mouth, let me tell you. Jonathan Teft says, with Disney continuing the Deadpool series, what happens if they want to put Colossus in the rebooted MCU X-Men? Do they use the amazing one from Deadpool, or do they recast and reboot the character? That is a great question, Jonathan. Look, here's my thinking about the X-Men. I think that we're going to get the MCU, the Feigeverse take on the X-Men. I think they're going to reconceptualize the X-Men. I think they're going to maybe make them more true to the comics. I think we're just going to get a different version because after all, we don't want the same version that we've been getting. But that Colossus might be the way they bridge the two universes. I don't know. I love Colossus in the Deadpool movies. I think it's great. He's hilarious. Or maybe he'll just stay in the Deadpool movies and they won't deal with him in the MCU, although that would be kind of sad since Colossus is a big part of the X-Men. But one never knows. Good question, though. See, now I'm to ponder this all day. Kick it to the king says, the Hollywood Reporter, as well as other well-regarded websites, have stated that Deadpool will stay R and be in the MCU. Why do you ignore this fact? You say follow the sources, but you don't do it with this. Actually, we do. At Cinemacon, of course, we saw people from Disney and from Fox speaking on stage, and they were talking about the fact that Deadpool probably will remain R-rated along with Alien. But, until that presentation, I hadn't heard anything definitive about that. But, I don't want to speak for John, but John's always about following the source, but we hadn't heard anything yet. And besides, the Hollywood Reporter, I don't know when they were saying this, but I don't think any of this was actually defined. But we did see sort of what I would think to be definitive proof. But it is, to me, it's like getting a check in Hollywood. Until the check clears, until you put it in the bank and it clears and the money's in your account, I don't believe it until it actually happens. But I think after going to CinemaCon, perhaps we will see another R-rated Deadpool movie. I would expect under the 20th Century Fox banner, which would be pretty cool. Jonathan Teft says, do you think the Lion King remake will include Timon and Pumbaa singing The Lion Sleeps Tonight, or have the song included in another way? I don't mind if they leave it out, but it would be fun to see. The Lion Sleeps Tonight, such a great song. Timon and Pumbaa are great too. Look, I would like to see it. I don't know. I know they probably have added some new songs because they do that. But I would love to see that. It would. I guess they could leave it out. But like you, Jonathan, I want to see that. Come on. It would be great. Leander says, fans think it's crazy to scalp Avengers Endgame tickets, but just wait until 4:25 at 6 p.m. and all venues are sold out and you're tired of avoiding spoilers. Fans will get desperate. Trust me, I've been there. I have to tell you, I couldn't get tickets for Age of Ultron when it opened, and I was also working. I went and saw a 2:45, or it was a 2:30 or 2:45 a.m. show at the Cinerama Dome. I know what you mean. I mean, if I didn't have the tickets, I'd be jonesing. It'd be like Requiem for a Dream in me. I need my Endgame tickets. Thankfully, I have them. Thank God. K Major says, can you believe Endgame tickets are selling for $100 each? What the F? Yes, I can. Because I would, if I didn't have my Endgame tickets, take my money. I would spend the money. I totally would. Dylan Robin says, Dillian. Maybe it is Dillian. No, there's no I. It's Dylan. Dylan Robin says, guy who gave spoilers from Infinity War last year should not be allowed to see Endgame this year, in my opinion. I agree. Do not spoil Endgame for anyone. Don't be that guy or girl or gentle being. Don't do it. Don't. Just don't. Why? And certainly don't do it to me. I'm seeing Endgame the day after the premiere. I don't want to know. And if you do, I'm going to punch you in the mouth. No spoilers. And yes, whoever that guy was, don't let him in. Jonathan Teff says, did you see Hotel Mumbai? I thought it was great, and it's probably the best movie I've seen this year. Reminds me of the Peter Berg movie Patriots Day. Didn't shy away from showing how bad the true story was. Jonathan, I can't wait. The story, for those who don't know, these terrorists from Pakistan assaulted a hotel in Mumbai, and many lives were lost. It was a horrific event, but this movie looks harrowing. It's right up my alley. I love stuff like this. I haven't seen it yet, but I really want to see it. It's playing locally here, and I can't wait. I can't wait to get there. Dylan Robbins says, before U.S. release. Yes, I agree. Don't let that guy in, Dylan. Don't let him. If you see him, you punch him in the mouth too. Jonathan Teft says that Joker trailer was incredible. This is now my most anticipated movie of the year. I think so too, Jonathan. I mean, it looked bonkers, but it looked like a really interesting take on this character. And what I don't understand is, as a comic fan, I'm a huge DC fanboy. I'm also a Marvel fanboy, but I'm a DC fanboy. And their Elseworlds line of stories, when they delve into characters and we get to see aspects of them that aren't part of the original continuity, such as Superman Red Sun or Gotham by Gaslight. There's been so many. I like seeing different interpretations of well-traveled characters, and we've seen so many different interpretations of the Joker, whether it's on television or whether it's animated or whether it's on the movie screen, that I think this new interpretation of how the Joker could have come to be really interesting. It looks like they knocked it out of the park. I cannot wait to see it. It was incredible. Charlie Gray says, I will take your ketchup on eggs and give you syrup on sausage bacon. Yuck. By the way, my local AMC isn't showing Shazam or Endgame because they are renovating. Oh, man. Charlie, that's a bummer. But what is wrong with sausage and bacon drenched in maple syrup? Come on. What is wrong with that? Now, I've never had ketchup on eggs. I don't want ketchup on eggs, but sometimes you put like salsa or you put, so it's not out of the realm of possibility to have tomatoes on eggs because I've done that before. But sausage and bacon with maple syrup, boy, I love that. Can't go with you there. Jonathan Teff says, how bad is Missing Link going to bomb? I'm feeling no buzz for this movie. Even I'm not very excited, and I'm a huge fan of Laika. Look, I hope it works. I do. Is Missing Link Laika? I thought it was the same Wallace and Gromit people, but if it's Laika, I love Laika. I don't want it to bomb. I don't want any movie to bomb. You know how long it takes to make stop motion animated movies? But I agree with you. I thought I saw the last trailer for it, and I thought it was more interesting. I always kind of wanted to see it. It seemed kind of funny to me. I know John wasn't as enthusiastic as I was, but I definitely would want to see it. But I wanted to succeed. Jonathan Teff said, and what's up with all these Bigfoot movies? Last year we had Smallfoot, and this year we have Missing Link and Abominable. And then there's that movie, The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then Bigfoot, the live action movie with Sam Elliott, which is supposed to be pretty good. Look up that trailer. The man who killed Hitler and Then Bigfoot. I think that's the title. It's a Sam Elliott film. So yeah, Bigfoot is definitely in the zeitgeist. I think there's always a lot of people that want to make Bigfoot movies. If you guys were, well, you're probably younger than me, but there was a company called Sun Classic Pictures, and they made like The Outer Space Connection and Search of Historic Jesus, The Lincoln Conspiracy. They made a movie called The Mysterious Monsters that had one of the best Bigfoot scenes in it that I've ever seen, but that's going way back. Sun Classic Pictures, Mysterious Monsters. You got to check that out. It's pretty great. James Peter says, Shazam reminded me of the first Christopher Reeve Superman movie. That's interesting. I didn't get that vibe from it, maybe a little bit, but that's interesting. I could see where you're going with that. I don't know if I agree with you, but I know what you're trying to say. Koba's here. Love Koba. Love when Koba's here. Could Disney now put Lucasfilm under the 20th Century Fox banner so Star Wars movies can open as they should with the fanfare? Koba, I've said that before. I would so love that. Wouldn't it be great to see the 20th Century Fox fanfare over the Star Wars films before you see Lucasfilm? I would love that. At least reinstate it with the original Star Wars when they put it out. I don't know. I mean, I love that fanfare. It's probably my favorite movie-going fanfare ever. The drum beats and the dun da the fanfare. I love it so much. I hope they do, but I don't think they will, because Disney purchased Star Wars, so they don't want to be like, oh, here's our other purchase. We're going to slap 20th Century Fox's logo on the front. I don't think they're ever going to do that. I would love it if they did. I mean, maybe they could give you here's what they should do as an Easter egg on the home video, the physical media releases. Maybe they could give us an Easter egg where you hit play and you could say with logo or without. They could put the 20th Century Fox logo on the home video releases. And if you chose to, you could play the Star Wars movies with the Fox logo, because that would be kind of cool. Vincent Rodriguez says, greetings and salutations from a French Canadian of Montreal, where the great William Shatner is from. Been here since AMC. Thank you for your work with us, the fans. Russo's confirm that the movie is 3 hours and 58 seconds, not 3 hours and 2 minutes, because they speed up the credits. Are people getting crazy for needing an explanation for 1 minute? People are always crazy. First of all, thanks for watching John for so long and following him since the AMC days. I'm sure he'd appreciate that. And thanking him for his work with the fans. No one busts his ass harder than John Campea. I've seen it firsthand. As a matter of fact, I'm doing this chat with you right now because he can't, and he doesn't want to let anybody down. I hope I'm not letting you down, but I could be. But thanks for that, Vincent. I think people are getting the running time of the movie. What's a minute or two between friends? That's what I always say. There might be a minute or two between you and your girlfriend, but a minute or two between Endgame fans, I think it'll be okay. But yeah, people get worked up over everything. I just want the movie to be good. I hope it's great. I think it's going to be great. I've never been so excited for a movie since The Empire Strikes Back. I'm very excited for this. Lehi. Velardes says, talk about screenings being sold out makes me realize one thing. I'm so happy to be a movie fan living in a small town. I live in Arkansas and not a single screening is sold out at my theater. My heart goes out to you big city folk. Yeah, but you know what? I would bet you that our theaters here in the big city are better than the one in your small town in Arkansas. Although that's prejudicial of me to say. So perhaps I could be wrong. And maybe your theater in Arkansas, you trade off the size of the screen with maybe you have fresh refreshments or like an ice cream bar. I met a guy at Cinemacon who was telling me about a guy who he has an ice cream parlor and it's attached to a movie theater. Now that to me, that's heaven. So I'd be curious, what is living in a small town and being a movie fan other than getting into movies early? What's it like? I mean, does a small town movie theater do special events? Do you guys have is there Infinity War and an Endgame thing? Tell us. I want to find out. But thanks for giving us your heart, sending it out to us big city folk. Thank you. I appreciate that. Vincent Rodriguez says, Russo's... Oh, I already read that. Randall Cunningham says, longtime fan, first super chat. I'm sorry. Here I am. You're a virgin super chatter, and you end up with me. So I apologize with that. I'm sorry that John is not here. But yes, thank you, by the way, for your first super chat. We really appreciate here on the John Campea Show the support from our viewers. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. You make it possible. Randall says, the morning of April 2nd, I drove to my local AMC to get Avengers tickets. One other guy was at the kiosks and he looked at me and just said, Avengers? It was a fun moment. Laugh out loud. Isn't that great when you meet fellow fans doing what you guys want to do? It's fantastic, isn't it? I love that. That's pretty funny. That must have been a great moment. Jonathan Teff says, who's your favorite Star Trek The Next Generation character besides Picard? And what's the most underrated Star Trek movie? I love The Undiscovered Country, but it seems like it never gets as much praise as it deserves. Well, Jonathan, I think in this case, it's better that you got me to ask this question to than John Campea. Of course, as you might know, I love Star Trek The Next Generation. I spent 3 years creating all of the documentaries and special features for the box set on Blu-ray that was released and the incredible restoration, which you haven't seen it yet. If you haven't, you should check it out. But I think my favorite Next Generation character besides Picard, I mean, Picard is a great character. I'm probably a Worf fan. I really like Worf. I like what they did. You know, famously, he was the last member of the cast hired, and it was almost an afterthought. Other people wanted them to put a Klingon on the bridge. Roddenberry thought of it. And Roddenberry always thought of Worf as a secondary character. Even in the third season, when they were doing things like Sins of the Father, and when they made the two-parter Redemption Part 1 and 2, Roddenberry didn't want that to happen. He didn't really understand how much people love Worf, but I love Worf. I also, as an aside, I love Ronnie Cox from RoboCop playing Captain Edward Jellicoe in the 6th season two-parter Chain of Command Part 1 and 2. I love that character. I wish they'd bring him back. And as far as Undiscovered Country goes, I love Undiscovered Country. I think it's probably my third favorite Star Trek movie after Wrath of Khan and the motion picture. I think the Undiscovered Country is great. It's a lot of fun. But I agree. It doesn't get as much praise as it deserves. I enjoy it quite a bit. Ryan of Asgard says, hello, John and Robert. Greetings from Stephen from the House of L and I. If the heroes are victorious in Endgame, do you think it will result in the death of Thanos, or will he survive somehow? I can't imagine they would kill Thanos entirely. But then again, when you kill half the creatures in the universe, that is an irredeemable crime. I mean, I don't even think a computer can count to the number of people who died because of that snap. So I think Thanos could possibly die. I think Thanos might be gone for good. Maybe so. Then again, maybe not. I guess we're going to have to wait and see. Jeremy Miller says, 1 minute trailer plus 5-hour video, 3-hour movie. Goodbye, John. I don't know. I think John will be able to survive Endgame. I think he will. He'll just take, he'll have a soda with him if you can get a soda. If he goes to the premiere, I don't know if they allow food, but maybe they will. Ryan of Asgard says, in your opinion, which theater chain gives the best movie experience for true fans of cinema? Thanks. Well, I have to tell you, I really like the ArcLight. This ArcLight is a chain here in Hollywood. I've always loved the ArcLight. They're sort of a premium theater. I have a membership there. They have a gold membership. They give you free gifts, usually free popcorn or free caramel corn or sometimes a free keychain or something every month. And I love the ArcLight, but there's lots of people I know that John loves AMC, but there's a lot of premium theater chains all around. But I really think the ArcLight, especially the Hollywood ArcLight, gives us the best, the most quality all the time, consistent quality, which I think is really important. So, I really, I do appreciate what they do for us. Grant Bilson says, how do you think Hulk will appear in Endgame? Professor Hulk or something completely different? Honestly, the Professor Hulk theory has been thrown around so much, it's starting to sound like a misdirect. I don't know. I think the fusion of Banner Hulk or Banner with Hulk to turn into the Professor Hulk would be really interesting. I think it'd be a lot of fun. But again, I've heard people say we're going to see World Breaker Hulk in Endgame. I don't know about that. That might be going a little too far. But I like Professor Hulk. I wouldn't mind if we saw him. I think Ruffalo could do a great Professor Hulk because he does the motion capture. I think it's great. DC Patience says, where do you buy DC or Marvel shirts? Well, there's Diamond Select does a lot. Graffiti Designs. I don't know if they're still around, but Graffiti Designs used to do a lot of great Marvel and DC shirts, all kinds of comic related shirts. So try there, but they're all across the internet. Yeah. Film Buff's Guide to the Cinema says, I love this show. I even started my own show recently. Well, thank you for that. And congratulations on your own show. How do you like doing your own show? What do you think about being on YouTube? Do you like it a lot? Does it become stressful? I do my own show too. And today I was like, I was stressed and I didn't know what to talk about, but I finally came up with a topic and it went pretty well. How do you find it to be? Jonathan Teff says, what was your favorite thing you did in Vegas besides Cinemacon presentations and news? Well, I think I know John's answer to this was probably he likes to play some poker. I think he did okay one night and not so good the other couple of nights, but I think he likes to play poker. I really like playing blackjack. I didn't play much of it, but that's what I really like to do when I'm in Vegas, and it's fun. Yeah. Tim Amaro says, hey, John and Robert, first super chat here. Well, thank you for that. Welcome. We're glad to break your super chat cherry. That's awesome. That's fantastic. If T3 Dark Fate, I love that you're calling it T3. If T3 Dark Fate is as good as his first films or as good as the first films, is it in conversation for the best trilogies or do we have to count the other movies? Thanks. Best show on you. Hashtag best show on YouTube. Well, Tim, that's a great question. I don't know. Famously, what Tim is referring to is that the Terminator Dark Fate is considered the real second sequel to James Cameron's original Terminator. As we all know, James Cameron directed the first Terminator in 1984, and then in the early 1990s, he directed Terminator 2. And then after that, they made Terminator 3. They made Terminator Salvation. They made Terminator Genesis. There was the Sarah Connor Chronicles TV show. So there's been a lot of continuations of the Terminator franchise. But James Cameron has come back along with Linda Hamilton as the real Sarah Connor. And Tim Miller, the director of Deadpool, is directing. And they're saying that this is actually a direct sequel to Terminator 2 that ignores the other films and TV shows in the franchise. So I think, why not? Why can't we talk about it as one of the best trilogies of all time? If it's great, it looks great. I have to tell you, the footage I saw at the Paramount presentation it looked bonkers and it looked so much fun. I can't wait to see it. But I think there's an argument to be made, sir, that it could be one of the great trilogies of all time. Certainly one of the greatest action trilogies of all time. We will wait and see. Tim Miller, though, he's really excited about this movie, and I've met him a couple times. I'm fired up for him. I think Terminator Dark Fate's going to be great. It looks great. Jock Cop says, Hawkeye prominent in the Black Widow film or keep the spotlight on her. You know what? I don't think we've seen enough Hawkeye. I would like to see at least maybe a part of the movie where they are on a mission together, maybe an opening James Bond-esque pre-title sequence where Hawkeye and Black Widow kick ass and wreck shop together, and then maybe she has to go off on a more personal mission by herself, and it becomes a thing. But, the Marvel movies are always fond of bringing other characters in when they launch another franchise, so why not? I mean, bring in Hawkeye. Who doesn't love Hawkeye? Come on. Leonard Contreras asks, how many Funko Pops do you own? I know John has a lot. I have one. I have Mike. I have Judd Mike. I have Judd Nelson's character from The Breakfast Club. That is the only Funko Pop. No, that's not true. I own 2. I own Judd Nelson from The Breakfast Club, and I have Mads Mikkelsen as Hannibal Lecter from the Hannibal TV series. Those are, and you know what? I just remembered I have a third one. I have a Green Orion slave woman from Star Trek. I have a Funko Pop of a Green Orion slave woman. So I have 3. John has many more, but those are the 3 that I have. Tom Elam says, when it comes to the movie's budget, does that include the actors' salaries? It absolutely does. And sometimes in the case of big movie stars, part of that salary is a lot. You know, the days sometimes movie stars were getting $20 million to star in a movie if they were big enough stars. So yeah, that does include the actors by a huge, yeah, you got to include that. It's a big part of the budget. Tim Amaro says, to clarify, I meant other films in the franchise. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I totally got what you meant. And I think, yes, the argument could be made. We shall see, though. Mista47 says, Widow movie is the MCU's chance to make Atomic Red, Jane Wick's Raid, Daredeviling, Deadpool style. Oh, this is hilarious. Let me read that again. Mista47 says, the Black Widow movie is the Marvel Cinematic Universe's chance to make Atomic Red, Jane Wick's Raid, Daredeviling, Deadpool style. One continuous take, no aliens, no capes, just fists. I think that'd be pretty funny. I have heard that Sam Mendes' new war film, World War I movie, I think it's called 1917, is supposed to be one take. But that's very funny. Atomic Red, a lot of great references in there, including my beloved The Rad, or as we say, The Raid. I think I don't know if it's going to be one continuous take, and I don't think there's going to be aliens. There might be a cape or 2, just fists and guns. Don't forget guns. I want to see a lot of gun foo. Ninjatrocity TV says, yo, John, what's up, homie? Well, I'm Rob, so I will say, what's up? Everything's up, brah. Good to be here with you. Thanks for the question. What do you have to say? Who do you think will die in Endgame out of the original 6? I lean more towards Cap, even though I love him, and he's literally my favorite character in the MCU. I think his death would make sense. You know what? I agree. Here's what I think. Here's my new prediction. I think Captain America will, in fact, die. I think Pepper Potts and Tony will give birth to a child that they will name Steve. That's what I think will happen. And I think you're right. It does make sense. By the way, thanks for your support. Thanks for writing in. Let's see what happens. It's mere weeks away. How excited are we? I'm pretty excited, man. Guy Volt says, can you believe no comic movie has stayed at 900 million? Yes, because they're either under or over. There isn't a 900 million comic book movie because you know what, if people like them, they've got that momentum. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, one will one day. I'm sure one will stop at like 968 million, and the producers will be like, can we put it in theaters again to get it just over $1 billion? I think somebody's going to do that at some point. Firepan 90 says, first of all, love your show. Thank you. I'm glad you love the show. Do you think that we have yet to see another villain in Spider-Man Far From Home, or do you think Mysterio is the main villain? I don't know. Mysterio looks like Gyllenhaal looks great as Mysterio, but I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to get another villain of some kind. I don't know who that is, but it might be interesting if we did. I'm curious. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens, but there might be. Carrie Neves says, A Star is Born, remake of a remake of a remake, but award-winning. Yes, it is true. It is a remake of the original and the remake of the 70s version. So yeah, I liked it though. I thought it was good. And what a great song that they sang in that movie. Shallow is a great song, right? So yeah, I mean, I think it's okay. A remake of a remake of a remake can be good. Dirk Diggler says, to Robert, please watch this week's Star Trek Discovery because we Trekkies can't wait to hear you rant about what they revealed to Captain Pike. Okay. What Dirk Diggler is talking about, of course, is how they revealed the fate of Captain Pike as seen in the first season original series episode, well, the two-parter, The Menagerie. Because the Star Trek Discovery writers just can't help themselves from raping and pillaging all of Star Trek, kind of like the Visigoths as they descended into Rome. You know, they just sacked the whole town, right? I kind of feel that's what the Discovery writers are doing to Star Trek. But anyway, yes, they revealed his fate because why shouldn't they? Why can't there be one thing that they don't touch from Star Trek lore and try and make their own? I was very angry about that. I will rant and rave at a later date, but you got me there, Dirk. You got me there. Jesse Estall says, I have a few tickets, half price, $750. Laugh out loud. Just kidding. Love the show, John. Jesse, if you can get $750, by all means, sell them. You can wait. Think about it. You could invest that $750 in a lot of things, just not Bitcoin. Not for a while anyway. But yeah, I would sell. Like I told somebody, I'll sell my Endgame tickets for $100 each. Vin4 says Russo brothers called it. Thanos' gauntlet is damaged, hence why he has all of his armor back on, because he knows he can't go against the Avengers without it. I think that's a very astute assessment. As John and I have talked about on the show, he doesn't have the power of the gauntlet anymore, so he can't zap from place to place. And he absolutely is using his spaceship to travel through space now. We see him beam down from his ship that we saw at the end of Ragnarok. So I think you might be right about that. And he's got to be armored up, because if he's going to fight the Avengers, he needs all the help he can get because they're angry. Blake Carson says, as of now, for me, a Marvel movie, Captain Marvel, is sandwiched by two better DC films, Aquaman and Shazam. When's the last time that happened? I would venture a guess never. It's never happened, Blake. I really like Shazam, and I really like Captain Marvel. I wasn't so hot on Shazam, so I can't go there with you. But I think it's cool that you can, and it's awesome that you feel that way. But how great is it that you're getting 3 comic book movies, all of very high quality? Jesse Estall says Rocket is the type of raccoon that can sell a Bible to a priest, and that's why we love him. Rocket Raccoon can do just about anything. But can you imagine? I would actually like to see Rocket Raccoon try and sell a Bible to a priest, because I think that would be a great scene in any Guardians of the Galaxy movie. I think that would be very funny. Mista47 says, hate scalpers, but I get it. I'd pay $100 or wait. I know, right? Jennifer Morales says, I'd pay money too. And capitalism, whatever the market will bear. Jennifer Morales says, if Endgame becomes #1 at the box office, will Avatar 2 take it back? I don't know. I mean, look, I think people forget how successful Avatar was. It's still the most successful movie in history. And I think never, ever, ever count James Cameron out. The man has consistently delivered, even when people said, oh, Titanic isn't going to work. And, oh, Avatar is Fern Gully and Dances with Wolves in Outer Space. Well, guess what? He's beat both of those assessments, and he's laughing all the way to the bank. I would not bet against James Cameron, but I'll tell you, I think that Endgame could at least make $2.5 billion. I've said that. I don't know if it's going to catch Avatar, but if any movie could, since Avatar has been released, Endgame has the potential to do so if it is great. Sharias Srivasav. I can't pronounce that, but that's a really cool name. Hey, John, do you think we will get a young Odin, Frigga, Heimdall, Warriors 3, Sif in the Loki Disney series? It would make sense. Loki grew up in Asgard. You know what? I think that's a pretty interesting comment. I think you might be right about that. I think seeing Loki's early days, like his childhood, even a younger Thor, I think that's definitely a distinct possibility. That we'll see a bit of his past in that show. And I, for one, am lucky. I'm anxious to see it. I think a Loki show is going to be great, especially if it's well made, which I think it probably will be. I think it'll be well made. Madstiff Jada says, prediction: Tony meets Thanos alone in Endgame. I don't know about that. Maybe he does, but I don't think he can. I think if Thanos met Tony alone in Endgame, Thanos would kill Tony. But again, I could be wrong about that. I don't know. Thomas Lund says, Build-A-Bear have released a Thanos toy that says a couple of spoiler lines. What the hell? Your thoughts, John. Google at your own risk. Wait, Thomas, there's a Build-A-Bear of Thanos? You had me at Build-A-Bear of Thanos. Does that mean I have to go into one of those places and build a Thanos Build-A-Bear? Because I want one. What does it say? I'm going to go Google. I'm not going to Google now, but I'm going to go Google the Thanos Build-A-Bear. What does he say? Are you sure it's not just saying bear stuff that a Thanos bear would tell kids? Maybe he's lying. I don't know, but I want a Thanos Build-A-Bear. I want to sleep with the Thanos Build-A-Bear all cuddled up, warm and toasty. I just don't want him to talk to me in the middle of the night. Marquis Jackson says, will the world finally appreciate the Avengers in Endgame? I don't know, man. I think I think the world probably blames the Avengers for what happened in Infinity War. I don't know if they're going to embrace the Avengers anytime soon. Of course, they might not know what happened. Maybe the Avengers didn't tell the world what happened, because if they're not in Wakanda, how would they know? They know New York got attacked by a strange extraterrestrial craft and beings, but that happened once before. That'll be interesting to see, and what it'll. That's a good one. Good question. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Mala says, pardon me, Mala, why do Americans cheer and shout during epic moments during films? We in the UK don't do anything like that. Shut up so I can concentrate on and watch. Well, I read a funny article about Europeans and how they feel about Americans, and they don't understand why Americans are always smiling. But I'd like to think that there's so many epic moments in Avengers Endgame that are, at least I hope they are, that how can you not want to throw your fist up and raise your voice in exultation? Because come on, don't you want to do that? I know I do. Terrell Wise says, box office winner, Black Widow or Doctor Strange 2? I'm going to take Black Widow. I think the female audience, like with Captain Marvel, I think mothers and daughters are going to turn out and they're going to watch Black Widow kick some major ass. Don't count out Black Widow. However, Doctor Strange 2, depending on if it could be great, maybe so. But I think Black Widow, she's been around longer than Doctor Strange. I think she's got a pretty great fan base. And if the movie looks kick-ass with great action, I think we're going to get something pretty amazing. So I'm looking forward to that. Tim Amaro says, just finished season 1 of Battlestar Galactica based on your recommendation. What a great fracking way to end the season. You, sir, are in for a treat. For those who have not watched the Ron Moore and David Icke reboot of Battlestar Galactica, one of the great science fiction shows of all time. I really love it. And yes, season 1, wait till you see where it goes, man. Wait till you see where season 2 ends. Tim, it's such a great show. I'm glad you're watching it. You're going to have a great time. Let's see if I can get this again. Sharius. Shrivstav. How's that? Is that better? Did I do okay on that? I get Snyder's frustration about bats killing to a degree, but his response was dickish to me. I don't think he gets why people don't like that. It isn't not my Batman. It's more about execution for many people. I agree. People want to believe Batman's a hero. And if Batman's gunning dudes and people down in the streets, how does that make him better than the criminals? So I think that there's look, if you're doing a realistic portrayal of the Dark Knight detective in our real world, trying to set it in the real world when he's dealing with people that are that much of a threat, people are going to die. I don't think Batman wants to kill them, but I think in the real world, people are going to die in this kind of a conflict. It's the eternal struggle between good and evil, but I do think Snyder was a little dickish with his remarks. I agree with you utterly, 100%. Haskell 420 says, Hi, John, you probably didn't see it, but your former job did a Q&A with the Russos after an Infinity War screening and replied to a question that Thor beat Thanos because he used like 20% of the gauntlet's power as he hasn't mastered them yet. That's pretty good. I think that there's something to be said about that. I think that is a very legit position to take, Haskell 420. Just like, in Man of Steel, let's apply that logic back to Man of Steel. Superman, what was he going to do with Zod? He had to kill him. Because he'd been Superman for such a short period of time. Thanos had this power of the Infinity Gauntlet running through him. Imagine what that was like. He hadn't mastered them yet. So yeah, I think you could be right about that. Plus, Thanos has been putting up with a lot. But I think you're right. I think that's a good response. I like that. Phil Wen says, which one's which? Dermot Mulroney or Dylan McDermott? I always mix them up too. It's tough. Isn't Dylan McDermott more of the handsome one? I don't know. It's tough. I always mix them up. Storm Chaser 78 says, hey, John, you said you would love to see Ben-Hur, the original, on the big screen. Some select theaters are showing it on April 14th through 17th. Just a heads up. I didn't know that. That's next weekend. I've seen Ben-Hur on the big screen. It's amazing on the big screen. It's so good. Oh my God, Ruler says, saw Shazam yesterday, fracking loved it, deserves dollars. Well, as I've told people, I didn't like it as much as most. I had a lot of fun with it, though. I'm glad you freaking loved it. It deserves dollars, and I hope it does, because I really want to see a Black Adam movie. Wouldn't that be cool? Malaw's back. With the current political climate, aren't we crying out for a Dead Zone remake? I would love to see a Dead Zone remake. I love David Cronenberg. He's one of my favorite filmmakers, and The Dead Zone is easily one of my favorite Stephen King books. That book is so melancholy. It really affected me. And the movie just touches on a fraction of the book. I would love to see a new version of the movie, especially in this day and age. Who would you want to play Greg Stilson? I thought Martin Sheen did such a good job. It was great. And yes, Greg Stilson, so good. Roman Bryant, over under 20%. We see Freddy Krueger in the next 3 years. Dude, I see Freddy Krueger every night when I'm sleeping. Every dream I ever had, Freddy Krueger's there. 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. 3, 4, better lock your door. 5, 6, grab your crucifix. 7, 8, gonna stay up late. 9, 10, never get up again, right? I see Freddy Krueger all the time. I don't know if we'll see Freddy Krueger in the next 3 years. The remake didn't do so well, but I'd love to see him reboot like with Halloween. Bring back Robert Englund. Give us another give us Friday the 13th. Give us another Nightmare on Elm Street movie. I would like to see a classic Nightmare on Elm Street film again, like the first one. Actually, Jack Shoulder's Nightmare on Elm Street 2 is very interesting, and Dream Warriors. I'm a big fan of that franchise. There's a lot of great fantasy stuff to like in it. When it gets bonkers, I really like that. So, yeah, maybe. Who knows? Aaron H. says, Iron Man and Black Panther suits are pure magic. I agree. Those suits are beautifully designed. Every Iron Man armor has been almost better than the last. Black Panther suit is pure magic. I love it. Even the redesign they gave it for the feature film, where it's got power coursing through it. I love it. I think it's great. Fantastic. I agree. And I have a lot of hot toys of them. Jared Murray says, love the Bohemian Rhapsody Fox fanfare. Dude, I thought that was so cool too. For what Jared means is, in front of Bohemian Rhapsody, instead of the traditional drums and trumpets of the Fox fanfare, they had, I guess, Queen played the Fox fanfare over to that, and they recorded it and used it in the front of the movie, which was awesome. Loved it. James Gold says, what is your at-home James Gold says, what is your at-home movie viewing setup? I have a 5-channel, actually I have a not 5-channel. I've got a 7-channel surround sound system. I've got front, left, and right. I've got rear, left, right, and center. My surround channels, and a subwoofer. 7. 7.1. Wait, let me figure this out again. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yes. So, and my subwoofer. So 6.1. 6.1. That's what I have, and I'm running a 65-inch plasma in my. That's my main system. Dim Sum 05 says, show suggestion. Super chat etiquette clause in description, e.g., what if X actor, top 5, etc. Yeah, I agree with you that there's a lot of questions that we get asked all the time, and John has ones that he doesn't want to answer. That's probably a good idea. I don't know how you can put that in the super chats, but it's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea at all. Ben Jesusa says, I enjoyed Shazam a lot. Probably my favorite DC film so far. That ending, though. Also, did you hear about someone trying to attack Bret Hart at the Hoff from Sunday? I saw, even me, who knows nothing about wrestling or MMA or any of that, I saw that Bret Hart video. That was crazy. And they got that guy and they took him out. That was crazy. I'm glad you like Shazam. I'm glad you thought it was your favorite DC film. It was certainly charming. Not my favorite, but I'm glad you dug it. I want to know what happened with that Hoff situation. I don't know what it did. DC Patience says, Fandango has showtimes for Detective Pikachu, but can't buy tickets just yet. Usually means a new trailer and pre-sales coming this week soon. I believe that. We saw more clips of Detective Pikachu at Cinemacon. It looks pretty funny. A lot of great stuff in that movie. So yeah, love to see it. John Michael Lodza says, by signing into both of our A-lists while I was at work, my girlfriend was able to score 2 Endgame tickets opening weekend, 5th row center seats at my favorite AMC Dolby. Hashtag my girlfriend is better than yours. I don't know about that. My girlfriend's pretty great. If I told my girlfriend to score her Endgame tickets, she would have. She would have got me the ones I wanted. But I am the one that is in charge in the family of doing that kind of thing. Heck, my voice is coming. I'm coming to the end of my voice. I've been talking all day on this. I'm sounding like John. But tell your girlfriend hello from John and Rob at the John Campea Show, and you've done well, sir. And report back and tell us what you thought of the movie. The Bearded One says, Man of Steel is my favorite movie of all time, and Batman v Superman is my second favorite, though Shazam is challenging that. Well, John and I love Man of Steel. I'm a huge fan of Man of Steel, and Batman v Superman, the ultimate cut, is I think much better than the theatrical version. And I do like the spell cast. I do not hate it. There's a lot of stuff I love in Batman v Superman. And Shazam, I'm glad you dug Shazam. That is awesome. But again, Man of Steel, I think, is fantastic, and I know John loves it too. Mark and Dale Production says, my girlfriend is getting me my first hot toy for my birthday. Man, you guys have good girlfriends. Let's hear it for the girlfriends, all right? Mark and Dale Productions, my girlfriend is getting me my first hot toy for my birthday. Should I get Deadpool, Black Suit, Captain America, Anakin Skywalker, or Obi-Wan Kenobi? Okay, here's what I tell people about getting their first hot toy figure. What you need to do is get the figure, the character. Which character do you like the best? Now, it's true of these figures. I mean, the Black Suit Captain America is not, he hasn't appeared in the show. It's like the design version. That's a great figure. The Deadpool figure, which I have right over there, is fantastic. The new Deadpool Hot Toys figure is amazing. They even have magnets where you can take his eyes off and replace his eyes or open or close different. It's incredible. The weapons are great. That Deadpool figure is way better than the first Deadpool figure. It's still available. You can get it on the Sideshow Toy website. It's fantastic. So, but I would say, and also the dark Anakin Skywalker that you can get, the dark version is so good, where he's possessed by the dark side. It's awesome. Obi-Wan Kenobi, both the Ewan McGregor version and the Alec Guinness version are beautiful hot toys. So that's a tough call, man. Mark and Dale from Mark and Dale Productions. I don't know. You have to pick the one. That's a tough call. All of those are great choices. But if I had to get one, I think the Deadpool figure, because you can swap out the eyes, you have a lot of choices for posing. It's just a really cool figure. It's fun to have. But then again, the Anakin and the Obi-Wans are great. Anthony R. says, even though you appreciate the super chats, it would be nice if people were thoughtful about your voice and not send the same things over and over again, like eggs and ketchup or your previous job. Yeah, but you know what? Here's what I think about that. This is just my opinion. I don't know what John thinks. I like, as we say in the business, runners. Runners are jokes that keep going, like the Han had it coming, or Justice for Han, and we keep it going. That's called a runner. And I think one of the things about runners, in the case of ketchup and eggs, and talking about John's previous job, maybe not so much that, but talking about the ketchup and eggs, it's sort of those are the jokes that build community, and they're kind of fun. Like everybody, what's your spin on the ketchup and eggs gag? So I know what you're saying, and I appreciate you looking out for John's voice, but I do think it's also something that helps build the community. It's kind of fun. Besides, I never tire of watching John grimace when he thinks about ketchup on eggs. The Bomb Horse says, how much salt do you put on your popcorn? I, for one, put a lot. I am unlike John. Popcorn is not a butter delivery device. I don't put butter on my popcorn at all. I like it doused in salt, not too much, not over salted, but I like a little bit of a salty twang to every bite. So I got to make sure it gets down there. I also like mixing popcorn with chocolate, salty popcorn with chocolate. It's the bomb diggity, yo. Just saying. Anthony R. says, but thank you for your dedication in being the best YouTuber. Kudos to Ashley and Robert as well. Rob's solo chats are equally fun. Why, thank you, Anthony R. I really appreciate that. Ashley appreciates that. And thanks for coming over to the Burnett work and watching some of my Robservations chats. But I have to say, I really love working with John. I really love what he does. He really sets the tone, and he works his ass off to bring you guys the best damn movie-related show on the internet. He really does. And it's fun to work with him, and I'm glad it's appreciated by the fans. Terrific. Anthony R. goes on to say, with the John Williams Superman theme playing discreetly in Justice League and another recent movie, do you think his theme is making a comeback for modern Superman movies? I don't know. Maybe. Remember, it was famously used in Superman Returns as well. And I'm a huge fan. I recently, if you guys love the Superman theme, and I don't even work for them, If you like this La La Land Records version of the Superman soundtrack that was just recently released, they remastered. They went back. They finally found the original master tapes and remastered it. It's unbelievable. You got to get it. The Bearded One says, the movie I'm looking forward to seeing the most this year is Godzilla. Love what you do, and you're the best, John. I will tell John that. Godzilla looks dope. I know the director, Mike Doherty. I cannot wait. I love me some kaiju, and we're getting Ghidorah, Mothra, Musara. We're getting Rodan, which Rodan's my favorite Toho. The original Rodan's my favorite Toho monster movie. I can't wait. Oh, my God. Wilfred Rodriguez says, watching Endgame on the 20th... Wilfred Rodriguez says, watching Endgame. That's my dog Gilbert. He probably heard a bird outside or something. Watching Endgame on the 26th wearing adult diapers. Like I said, it's 3 hours long. You can always bring a catheter. Gilbert, please stop doing that. I'm upset, says Bautista got his nose ring ripped out at Maya. Ooh, really? Yeesh. Why was he wearing a nose ring there? He should have taken that out. That's bad. The Bearded One says, thoughts on how Brightburn Kid will be stopped. I have a theory about this. It's very Star Trek related. It goes back to an episode, one of the very first episodes of the original series ever aired, called Charlie X. There's a very powerful alien kid, or a human kid that was imbued with alien powers, who starts running amok on the Enterprise, and he's doing some real damage to people. And then at the end, his alien parents show up and take him home. I think that's what's going to happen at the end of Brightburn, but we shall see. I think Brightburn's alien parents will come back. It was never supposed to happen. He crashed by accident, and they went back once they saw that his powers were manifesting. They probably got word, or they got an indicator that said, oh, our kid's alive. We got to go get him. After he's already, and we'll get some really great first contact moment, some awe and wonder moment at the end when the kid's taken away, and he'll complain like Charlie's like, I want to stay, as he disappears, something like that. David Tapia says, I heard a rumor that in preparation for Endgame ticket sales, AMC transferred employees from HR to IT. That's pretty funny. It didn't work, did it? I do like that. Sam says, I'm a huge movie fan, and since I was born, I'm 15. The closest theater was 40 minutes away, but yesterday a theater opened on my block. So excited. Well, Sam, now you're going to need a job because you're going to live there. You're 15. When you turn 16, go work there, and you can get free tickets. That's awesome. Congratulations. I hope I'm happy for you. Report back. Tell us what you're going to go see first. What's the first movie you're going to see at that new theater? Murray Reich is here. Murray says, somebody posted on a Facebook group a pic of a nozzle that affixes to your area, and then it connects to a water bottle so you can pee during Endgame without missing it. Told you. It's a catheter, whatever it is. I don't know, though. I thought I would find it very disconcerting if I was sitting in a movie theater and someone was just letting go of a stream right next to me. I don't know if I could handle that. It would kind of bother me, I think. Cinematic Galaxy says, loved Shazam, made me feel like a kid again. I agree with you. It did make me feel like a kid again. And there's that third act twist that made me just delighted. As much as I might not have loved the entire movie, I certainly liked that third act because it was great and I didn't see it coming. I'm glad it made you feel like a kid again. Alejandro Flores Rosales says, driving up to Seattle from Vancouver on my birthday on May 4th for a 4DX and huge IMAX. I was about to say, hashtag Vancouver, Washington, not BC. Yes, that is great. I'm from Seattle, so I know Vancouver, Washington very, very well. I used to know a girl from there briefly at leadership camp. I think her name was Michelle Hollenbaugh, but she was from Battleground. What Alejandro is saying, he's driving up to Seattle from Vancouver on his birthday, which is May 4th. My birthday is May 15th. We Taurians rule. Is it Taurians? Taurians? I don't know. So tell us all about it. That's awesome that you get to do that. And that drive's always delightful, although it's sometimes traffic on the 5 can get a little annoying. I also went to the Evergreen State College, which you're going to pass by my exit 104, if you want to go visit. Say hello. Herc08 says, which would be more impressive and or most likely to happen? Endgame hitting 300 million opening domestic, or 1 billion opening worldwide, or 3 billion total? I think it has a shot at 3 billion. I don't think that much. I mean, I've said 2.5 billion because no movie has grossed 3 billion yet. I don't even know if it could, but maybe. Depends how good it is. I think the most likely is hitting 300 million domestic, but that's again with the amount of theaters there are in the United States. That's a big if. That requires packed theaters 24 hours a day there's only 72 hours in the weekend. So who knows? I mean, it'll be interesting to see what the opening week is, but I do think 300 million is probably the most doable, but a 1 billion opening worldwide, I don't know. That's tough. No, I'm going to say no on the 3 billion. 1 billion opening worldwide, not opening, maybe it's definitely the first week, but I could be wrong. But I would say 300 million is the closest thing to that happening, but I could be wrong. And Schnip, Schnip, hello, Schnip. Schnip says, saw Shazam over the weekend. Absolutely phenomenal. I'm definitely going back for a second round. Well, Schnip, I love that. Schnip, exclamation point. I didn't love it as much as John, but I kind of do want to see it again. I thought the third act kicked ass, and for an old school Shazam fan like myself, there was a nice little twist I should have seen coming from a mile away, but I didn't, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was so good. Herc08 says, got a chance to see Shazam on Saturday, and wow, what a great movie. Had some consistency issues, but I dig it. May see it again this week. Well, Herc08, perhaps you should go with Schnip because you guys loved it, which is great. I mean, it's always great to take a bunch of friends to see a movie that is phenomenal. And if you guys all love it, there's nothing better. And wow. And here we go. Trey Gaming was not able to see Shazam over the weekend. When is the spoiler discussion so I can see it before then? I don't know. John's voice is ravaged. So he was going to do one yesterday, but didn't. Maybe he'll do it in a couple days from now. As many of you know, I probably won't participate in that because I am going to Seattle on Thursday for my mom's 80th birthday. So yeah, but everybody should see it again. You should go see it at Trey Gaming. Do yourself a favor. Go to the theater. Go see it. You'll dig it. Herc08 says, you would think how big the MCU is that it would collapse upon itself, but it just keeps putting out hit after hit. Can it collapse within the next 3 years? Well, here's the thing. I mean, pop culture's funny. It ebbs, it flows. You never know what's going to be popular. What might be popular tomorrow was not popular yesterday or the week before. But I think these characters are, if The Simpsons can run 30 years, if the MCU continues with this quality level and creates new characters that we can love as much as we've loved the characters over the last 11 years, who knows where it's going to end? I mean, I only think it will collapse upon itself if it becomes slipshod and not so great. I don't see that happening anytime soon. I really don't. I mean, I think they're doing a fantastic job. Kevin Feige and his team over there with Louis Esposito, they are doing something unprecedented in Hollywood history. And I think everyone talks about how much money they're making, but it's clear that the reason they're making so much money is because they're obviously having a lot of fun doing these movies. They're making them great. I mean, what better legacy to leave to the world than the MCU? I think it's really great. All it does is make people happy. And, as we've seen, I certainly have seen on my own channel, and we've heard from people all the time on the John Campea Show that they've grown up with this. I mean, I was read a letter on my own channel from a guy who was born in 2000. His mom took him to see Iron Man when he was 8, and now he just turned 19. He's in college, and these movies are a part of his life. So I think they're going to go on for a long time as long as they keep up the quality, and I think they will. And I think we're all the better for it because isn't it cool? Ariel Sandoval says, Joker may have mental illness. In trailer, read his notepad. I also think his mom will be killed, which could spark his fury. Anyway, just speculation. I think good speculation. I mean, it's funny. A lot of people are like, well, we shouldn't have a Joker that's demystified in such a way. But I disagree. If you're going to do a Joker origin story and it's the world that has made him this way, we're all complicit in the creation of the Joker in some way, shape, or form. And I kind of like that. And I think you might be right, Ariel. I think you might be right about that. His mom might be killed. Koba says Hellboy embargo to the 11th of April. That's actually, it opens. I don't know if that's bad. I hope it's not bad. I mean, who knows? I'd love to see Hellboy be great. It looks like a lot of fun to me, but it probably doesn't bode that well, to be honest. I mean, I don't know. John Atienza says, "Hi, John. Tried to watch Shazam this weekend. Kept getting an error message on Cinemia when trying to buy tickets. Have you had problems with it?" I've never used Cinemia, so I have not. I think John can speak to that more than I can. I don't know, to be honest. I can't answer that question, John. I apologize, but maybe John Campea can add some more light, shed some more light on the subject. Big for Dam and Alfie Gamer. Big for Dam and Alfie Gamer. Hey, John, my birthday is 2 months. So going to watch Pet Sematary, watch Shazam. Hang on, let me start again. Hey, John, my birthday is tomorrow, probably. TMOZ, tomorrow's. So going to watch Pet Sematary, watched Shazam yesterday, which was awesome. Here's some pounds for the throat medicine. Take care. Well, Big Dam and Alfie Gamer, like Alfie, like what's it all about, Alfie? Michael Caine, Alfie. If you haven't seen that movie, and then Jude Law was in the remake, I like your name. Happy birthday. I hope it was a good one. Clearly, you saw some great films, and thanks for the super chat. John will definitely benefit from that because, man, his voice is rough. Rufino Salazar Jr. says, "In my experience, there's no such thing as luck." That's, of course, Obi-Wan Kenobi. One of my favorite quotes in Star Wars. I can't do. "In my experience, there's no such thing as luck." That's my Kenobi. That's what you're going to get. Koba says the 10th of April, I mean. The 11th of April is Thursday. The embargo lifts Wednesday. It's maybe not. I'm not going to say it means anything yet. You never know, though. J Meister 25 says, "MCU exchange trailer for Endgame, cry time." I think the whole movie is going to be kind of cry time. Maybe in the end. I think actually no, the end's going to be cry time too. I'm bringing a whole box of Kleenex to Endgame. I anticipate a lot of man tears shed during that movie. A lot of man tears shed. Royce Freeman says, "Can old school hijinks from Revenge of the Nerds like panty raids or making bullies' jock straps burn fly in films in today's climate of hashtags?" You know, Royce, that's a really compelling question, one I literally grapple with every day of my life. I think about a lot of the movies that I've loved in the past, and there's a lot of problematic behavior. But no longer can boys will be boys. So I don't know. I think the pendulum's going to swing the other way. I think it's going to come down to the fact that, I'm not saying that panty raids were good things necessarily, or making bullies' jock straps burn, but, making anyone's jock strap burn is obviously wrong. But if they're bullies, what's wrong with a little jock strap burning? But no, I think, look, we live in a time where, people are looking for respect. Everybody wants to be treated like a normal human being. They want to be respected as a person, as an individual. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with the time that we're going through now. However, I do think humor is also important to our culture. And it's getting to the point where we are becoming a rapidly humorless society. And I hope these kinds of comedies never go away, because bawdy, overt, over-the-top comedies are sometimes good for the soul. So I hope they don't go away entirely. But I think you're not wrong to ask. Aviator 986 says, "Can you use Cinemia card for advanced tickets?" Again, Aviator 986, I don't know the answer to that, but I would imagine. Can you? Maybe not. I don't know. I just have to flat out say I do not know the answer to that. I'm sorry, but I appreciate you supporting the channel. Grant Bilson says, "How do you think Hulk will appear in Endgame? The Professor Hulk theory is so common now that I'm starting to think that the theory itself is a misdirect." Could very well be. Who planted that theory? But I like the idea of Professor Hulk. They've talked about an arc for the character of the Hulk, and it sort of makes sense that Banner and the Hulk become one, and that seeing Hulk talk in Ragnarok was the beginnings of that. It was the beginnings of an evolution of the Hulk, and I kind of like that. I think it'd be cool. I think Ruffalo would have a great time with that. But I don't know. We're gonna see out. We're gonna find out in Endgame. It's coming. It's coming. James Christie says, "Thank you for being one of my main sources of movie news and entertainment for over 6 years. I just figured out how to do super chats from the phone. The questions will be free-flowing now. I apologize in advance." Well, James, let me tell you something. With my own channel, with John Campea Show here, we appreciate all the support. We really, really do. It means a lot to us, and it keeps the show going. Keeps it on the air, keeps John. I know he's always buying new equipment. No one waxes rhapsodic about a new microphone than John Campea, and that's completely made possible by everybody in the way they support both the Patreons and with super chats. All that gets put into the show. John just keeps wanting to make the show better and better, and he does, and that's why it's fun to do it with him, because he will accept no substitutes and he demands excellence, and I like that about that guy. John Campea's a good man. Aviator 986 says, also, when I try and purchase online, Cinemia app doesn't do anything whenever I pick a theater and film. It just buffers and then nothing. Come on, man. Were you trying to buy tickets the day of Endgame? Might be that. Could be that. We got a lot going on. But I complain to Cinemia. This is wrong. Tracy E says, I saw Shazam and it was mostly a kiddie movie. It was okay, but not for me. I wish I had seen Captain Marvel again instead of Shazam. Well, Tracy E, kind of there with you. It really did seem like a kid's movie to me. It seemed like they took away what could have had a little bit more sophistication and went all kiddie. I understand. I feel your pain. I feel the way you do. A lot of people don't agree with me, but look, I love it that people love Shazam. I wanted to love it more, but I did not. I felt the way you did, actually. Zach Kaplan is here. He says, I realized that James Gunn was born in Missouri, just like Peter Quill. How poetic is that? Any possibility that helped him get the gig originally? Probably not. I don't think anyone's ever been given a job in Hollywood because of where they're from. Maybe that's not true, but I've never heard of that. But maybe that's why that's why James Gunn wrote Peter Quill as being from Missouri. I think that's definitely a possibility. Yeah. Mark Nava says, hey, John and Robert, did you guys manage to see the revealed Sideshow collectible Endgame figures? I must know your thoughts. Well, if you're talking about if you're talking about Hot Toys, the new Iron Man armor and the Thanos stuff, it looks great. I pre-ordered that Thanos, just so you know. Can't wait. And they're going to unveil more. There's an event in Hong Kong at Hot Toys headquarters at their secret base where I think they're releasing more of the Endgame figures. They've released Nebula already, also pre-ordered. The Nebula figure is great, and I can't wait to see more of the Endgame figures. You know, my philosophy again about action figure collecting, especially Hot Toys collecting, is I don't want to own every figure. I see some videos on YouTube where I'm just salivating because they have like every Hot Toys figure. One, I could never afford that. I could never justify buying every Hot Toys figure because I'm close to the grave. And the other reason is because, like, if I had 10 different, like, I always upgrade. If I buy, like, right now in my case right over here, I'm rocking these the Captain America Winter Soldier Black Widow. Now, there's been ultimately, I think, like 7 or 8 Black Widow Hot Toys figures, but I only keep one at a time. And then I really want to upgrade to a different figure. I just like the long hair with that figure. But I will get, not so much I was not into the Infinity War. I think I'm going to get I might upgrade to the Age of Ultron Black Widow, or one of the cooler Black Widows with more going on in the suit. But I can't get all the Hot Toys figures. And even though I'd want to, I just try to get the best figure. That's my thought. But, I will have the Infinity War Thanos, and I will have the Endgame Thanos, because one is without armor and one's with armor. And the one they made with armor before is smaller, not the right size. So that one is going to be, even though it has a chair, I'm sending it away. One in Lemillion says, hey guys, love the show and all you do. With Endgame hype being so high, do you have any concerns that it could live up to or even surpass expectations? I have to tell you, Infinity War surpassed my expectations. My expectations were really high, but the movie exceeded those expectations. I had such a good time in Infinity War, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Endgame, I'm even more hyped, and I think it might. I think it might exceed our expectations. But then again, I don't think I've ever had higher expectations for a movie. Even when Empire Strikes Back was coming out, I was more dubious. Like, how could a movie be as good as Star Wars? But it was. And I don't know. But man, the hype is real. I'm feeling it. I go to bed in a cold sweat every night thinking about Endgame. I dream about it. I want it to be great. Please be good. I think it will be. James Christie says, did grenade launcher wielding army specialists survive the effects of Thanos' snap? And if so, will we see you in Endgame? I don't know. I don't know. Who knows who survived the snap? Grenade launcher wielding army specialist. Maybe. You never know. You never know. I don't even know if my mom survived the snap and it's going to be her 80th birthday. For all I know, I'll go home and she won't be there. Jason Morgan says, thoughts on Sergeant Bilko, my favorite comedy of all time. Now, I don't know much about Sergeant Bilko other than there's the old Sergeant Bilko. And did they make a movie of Sergeant Bilko? I think they did. I have never seen it. So I can't answer that question. But I'm sure if it's your favorite comedy of all time, it's got to be good. I think you're probably a very discerning man. But I haven't seen that one. I have to go look it up. James Christie says, take a day off. Well, James, at least John's taking the afternoon off. And here I am. You have me now answering these questions. I hope I'm doing an okay job, even though there's a lot of these I don't know here at the end of these questions. Evan Jenkins says, do you write in third person on community updates? You know what? I haven't started community updates on my own channel, but I would write in the third person just because I mean, it could make it, but for community updates, I'd want it to be more generic. Although maybe, I mean, I don't know. It really depends. I've written about myself in the third person before on YouTube, and people are always like, what kind of pretentious D-bag writes in the third person about themselves? I'm like, when I've written some descriptions on videos, I've said filmmaker Robert Meyer Burnett, because I don't just want to write like I did this. I want to make it so when people read it, they get generic information because not everybody knows who I am. They'll find videos and they won't know. But I think that's actually, Evan, a really interesting question. I don't know the answer to that with John, but I know that sometimes I have and sometimes I haven't. It really depends. But when I have written about myself in the third person, people call me out on it. Maybe rightfully so. K Major says, hey, John, so we got the last season of Arrow coming. I like you were there at the beginning. I watched all of the after viewing videos you did. Those were awesome. Any thoughts on doing something similar for the series finale? You know what, K Major? That's a really good question. I mean, since you're asking about those videos for John, I think he should. Why not? It'd kind of be a neat bookended thing. I'm going to tell him to do that. I think he should do that. Damn it. Absolutely. Frankie Gouge says, my weekend felt incomplete without your show. You have rapidly become my number one source for entertainment news. P.S. My name rhymes with Baton Rouge. Oh, okay. So it's Frankie Gouge. Frankie Gouge rhymes with Baton Rouge. I like Baton Rouge. I've been there. It's great. Frankie Gouge. I like that. It's a good name. Frankie Gouge, you sound like a friend of one of the Goodfellas. I like that. Frankie Gouge. Evan Jenkins says, screw you. I love the Ewoks. Thank you for the show. You know what? You know why I didn't like the Ewoks? Because they didn't speak Jawa. I really wanted an Ewok to say, Utini. I can't even do it that high. That was not a very good Ewok impression or a good Jawa impression. But, the Ewoks are fine. They're meat eaters. We know that. So thank you for the liking the show. I'll tell John. K Major says, I like you step away from the show, but I will be tuning in for the last season. Yeah, but I like your idea. To always tune in for the last season. Why not? Koa 1708 says, is Netflix not worried about being associated with bad quality? Everyone knows if a movie comes out on Netflix, it's bad and they don't care. You know what? I don't think that's necessarily true. Like Triple Frontier wasn't the greatest movie in the world, but it was pretty darn good. I think that it had a good cast, but I think Netflix wants to up their game. I mean, for a while, they're acquiring studio movies and they think, ooh, it's a studio movie. We could never afford to make this, but we can acquire it. But I agree with you in the long run. Netflix has to keep their quality up, but they have been dropping some excellent shows lately. I mean, I loved Russian Doll. I loved Sex Education. Their documentary shows they're dropping are great. I want to see Brie Larson's directorial debut with Sam Jackson. I'm looking forward to seeing that, which I haven't seen. Who knows? It could be great. But yes, I think Netflix needs to keep up their quality or people are going to be like, Netflix, I don't want to get that. James McGee says, I think Idris Elba will play Bronze Tiger like in both animated Suicide Squad movies. That's really interesting, James. I think you're onto something there. Idris Elba playing Bronze Tiger would be great, and that's just the kind of character James Gunn would go for. I really like that idea. You might be onto something, sir. DC Patient says, kids love Shazam more than adults at our showing. I think so. I really do. I think Shazam lacks a level of sophistication that I was looking for, even though that seems silly to say, but I agree with you. I think you're right, DC Patience. I think you're right. One of my favorite names, Eternitine Forever. And it's funny because when I see your name, Eternitine Forever, I have to say Eternitine Forever. I can't just say Eternitine Forever. It just, because you say forever, it's like you have to say forever. You didn't say forever. It's forever. So you got to say, you know. Anyway, Avengers 1 end credit shot after premiere. After end credit shot after premiere. Okay, I know what you're saying. Eternitine Forever says the Avengers 1 end credit shot where they're eating the shawarma was shot after the actual premiere of the movie, which was true, and it got into the release version of the film. That's true. Fantastic Four in Endgame. Look, man, I've always said there is no reason why they can't tease Silver Surfer, Galactus, and his big ship. And I'm talking the Kirby Galactus, man. I want to see that gigantic ship and him inside saying, I hunger. Be the greatest ending of any movie ever. I'd scream like a little girl. Bellboy Baggins says, yesterday theory, Paul and Ringo claim the songs are theirs. Protagonist helps them remind the world of the Beatles by playing concert. He gets to play with the Beatles on stage, jump starting his career, happy ending. I like that. I like that you're giving us a yesterday theory as opposed to an endgame theory. I like that. That could happen. But how would, in that reality, if Paul and Ringo, no one knew who the Beatles were, and it was Paul and Ringo's songs, what about John and George too? They do say there's two people, so we don't know. But I like that idea. Terrell Wise says, is Captain Marvel a little too confident? Not if she's been kicking ass for 2.5 decades. But we'll see. If she is too confident, she's probably going to get a beat down at the hands of Thanos. You never know. Jacob King says, shut up and take my free money. I guess that means you send in a super chat and that's what you want to say. You know what, Jacob? We will take your free money. John will take your free money. But thank you for the supporting the channel. Seriously, it means a lot, and it does get used for the channel and to do better things. David Lee says, do you think Marvel would ever consider doing a Civil War II movie? Maybe a Captain Marvel Civil War II? What do you think? That's interesting. I don't know, but that's a good idea. I like that idea. Civil War II could be. We'll have to see how the Avengers roster shakes out, but I like that idea. Angus Dustigear says, hi, John. If you could choose a biopic to be made about anyone, who would you choose? I'd love to see a film about Steve Irwin. What a brilliant man. That would be kind of fun, although it has a bad ending. But I guess most biopics do. That's for me. Who would I? You know what? Well, we've already seen Churchill. I'm a huge fan of Winston Churchill. Gosh, a biopic. Who would I like to see a biopic of? It's a good question. I'd have to think about that. I think Uncle Pete, coach of the Seattle Seahawks. I love Uncle Pete. He could play himself. He's such a handsome devil. But I don't know. Gosh, who would? I mean, we keep getting these cool biopics of people like I love First Man because I love Neil Armstrong, The Right Stuff about the 7 Mercury astronauts. I love them too. I don't know. That's a good question. Steve Irwin, what a brilliant man. Maybe an Einstein biopic, although we've seen various versions of those. It'd be tough. Maybe Harlan Ellison. I'd love to see a Harlan Ellison biopic because he was a cantankerous, beautiful bastard. And I loved his work. And I've met him a couple times. I was reminded I've met him 3 times. And he was an amazing guy. I had dinner with him once. And it was amazing. I always forget about that. Good old Uncle Sidious says, is it possible Thor's SB only beat IG because Thanos knew. Wait, Thor's SB only beat IG because Thanos knew if he used full power for SB, then the gauntlet would have been too damaged for the snap. Okay. Why? How can I not know that? Is it possible? Because I'm an idiot and it's been a long day. Let me start again. Good old Uncle Sirius. Is it possible Thor's Stormbreaker only beat the Infinity Gauntlet because Thanos knew if he used its full power for Stormbreaker, then the gauntlet would have been too damaged for the snap? Sometimes us old guys need a little bit of help. We have to take a pause. That's interesting. I don't know. I don't necessarily know that Thanos knew anything about Stormbreaker. Maybe he did, but since Stormbreaker was new and no one had really ever seen it before, he didn't know. I think Thanos might not have been prepared what he walked into in Wakanda. Certainly, maybe not Thor's fury. Last time he saw Thor, remember, Thor was in a bad way. So, but that could be. I just think he wasn't prepared, and he wasn't prepared for Thor's onslaught. But I don't think it was. you're in battle, you're not really thinking clearly. I don't know. But I think I don't think Thanos was worried about that. I think once you have the Infinity Gauntlet loaded for bear with those Infinity Stones, you can do anything with it before you do the snap, because the snap is it's the culmination of all that power being unleashed, when really you're using various stones to do certain things, but it's the snap that uses them all together that way. So that's just a thought. Frankie Gouge says, another Captain Marvel theory. She goes in all gung-ho and apparently destroys Thanos along with the Gauntlet and Stones. She is ostracized by the Avengers for not being a team player. All of it is faked by Thanos. Could be. That's interesting. I like that idea. It's kind of cool. I don't like the part about it being faked. What if that really happened? I think that'd be kind of dope. Marvel to AMC IT department. Dread it. Run from it. Endgame ticket day still arrives. Still got decent seats, but damn, that was an anxious debacle. It was. Luckily, I went to the ArcLight, but I didn't deal with Fandango. But yes, it was an anxious debacle. What a great, well put, sir. Well put, sir. Phoenix Arising says, John, I play Fantasy Movie League, but what is it that other movie league I've heard you talk about? People have been acting as if it will cover a spread. That's a new movie league that people keep talking about. I don't know exactly what it is. I don't know much about it. But yeah, they have a spread. They're covering a spread. They keep writing in. I don't know if there's a place online we can go to play that. I'm interested to see. I'd go check it out. But I don't remember the name of it. John would have to remember. Boy, there's a lot of things in the back half of this chat that I just don't know. I'm sorry about that. Biggie 2316 says, new Avengers clip looks like Banner's face is CGI. Could be. I don't know. I don't think it's CGI. You think that's actually Tony? Could they have CGI'd his face or Tony? I don't think they did. You never knew. Maybe it's just the lighting. Austin Hernandez says, hey guys, love your content. Rob, what got you into comics? For me, it was seeing my late brother's collection of comics all over our living room table. Well, you know what? Even when I was a little kid, that's a pretty interesting question. I loved Star Trek. I loved the Twilight Zone. I did love the Super Friends, the hour-long Justice League Super Friends with Wendy and Marvin, and and their Wonder Dog. I love that. So I was always into superhero figures, and then superhero shows, and then Mego came out with their world's greatest superhero figures, and I'd read comics, and then for whatever reason I got into the Justice League of America, and my mom, when comics were on spindle racks, my mom would actually find me the Justice League of America comics I needed every month. She brought them home for me. And this is like, I had to have been like 6 or 7 or something. And I love the Justice League. So that's how I got into comics. Anthony Mascareno says, hi, I love the show. Seen Shazam, very good. Had a good time. My question is, what are your top 2 performances in a movie? Mine are, number 1, Ledger's Joker, 2, Rami Malek's Freddie Mercury. By the way, Us was underwhelming. Let's see. My top 2 performances in a movie. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm old school. I have to go back, and I think probably Jack Nicholson's performance in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is probably right up there. Peter O'Toole is Lawrence of Arabia. I love Betty Davis in All About Eve. I too love Heath Ledger as the Joker. I love William Shatner's performance as Kirk in Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. I love, one of my favorite performances of any actor ever is Roy Scheider. Nope, not in Jaws. Nope, not in The French Connection. Nope, not in 2010. Roy Scheider in All That Jazz, one of my favorite movies of all time. The Nerdy Hatter says, not only are Harley, Waller, and Rick Flag coming back, but Jai Courtney. I thought Jai Courtney was coming back too. Confirmed Boomerang is returning too. Yeah, I think that's a smart move. The Suicide Squad made a lot of money, so why wouldn't you bring those characters back? I think it's a good move. I think, and James Gunn knows those characters. He doesn't have to start from scratch anymore. He knows he gets to go back to Guardians of the Galaxy. He's making the safe bet. He's going to probably deliver a great film. If Mad Max was good, and people like Suicide Squad, I was not one of those people. But if Suicide Squad's Mad Max, I think James Gunn is going to make The Road Warrior, if that makes any sense to anyone. Game Wincam says, would be funny if Deadpool 3 started with the Disney logo, laugh out loud. That would be funny. And then he tears it open and it's actually Fox. I could see that happening. That'd be funny. DC Patient says, friends said Shazam trailers were dumb, didn't go. I didn't think they were dumb. I mean, I think it was fine. It was wish fulfillment. I just don't think the movie moved beyond the trailers enough. Again, it just didn't work that well for me. Stubble McShave said there was great hype for Shazam 2 or 3 weeks ago. It was drowned out by news from CinemaCon and Endgame ticket release. Maybe you might be right about that. I'm not the biggest fan of Shazam. It was fine. It just didn't go places that delighted and surprised me. I thought it was very obvious where it went. Although I did kind of like where Savannah went. There was some good stuff there. Abisectas. I've seen that many of my colleagues didn't even understand it's a DC movie, which hurt. We needed the Superman cameo in the trailer. Oh, you couldn't have put the Superman cameo in the trailer. And if you don't know that Shazam's DC, I get it. But come on, you couldn't have done that. But it's interesting that your colleagues didn't understand it was a DC movie. I can understand that. For those of you who don't know, there is a beautiful 1940s serial. If you've always wanted, not cereal like breakfast cereal, but a motion picture serial of shorts that they used to show at the beginning of movies. And one of the greatest from the 1940s was The Adventures of Captain Marvel, which stars Shazam, but with the name Captain Marvel. It's on Blu-ray. If you guys want to see something really cool, The Adventures of Captain Marvel on Blu-ray. Check it out. It's a lot of fun. Yes, it's black and white, but it's still awesome. Josh Soul says, going to see Shazam, but from everything I've heard, it sounds small in scale. It didn't feel like a movie I need to rush out and see opening weekend. Yeah, it's not that big in scale, but it's delightful. I was disappointed in it, but it's delightful. Neil the Sphinx says, could the low opening weekend for Shazam be because Fandango customers already saw it 2 weeks ago? I don't think so. I mean, they keep saying that. The numbers were still bigger than they thought, even though they were conservative. I don't think so. I really don't. Keith DeVito says, I didn't want to see a kids movie, sent my nephew. Yeah, I thought Shazam pretty much was a kids movie. I really did. Avery Davis says, I think Shazam wasn't as kid-friendly as advertised, aka the portrayal of the possessed spirits. Come on, man. Who are you kidding? When those possessed spirits decide to go all possessed and do what they do, kids love that. Kids love it. I would have loved it if I was a kid. Yes, it would have been great. When possessed spirits, the 7 deadly sins, when they decide to go all deadly, they go all in. Jason Anderson says, Shazam didn't smash due to people spending Endgame tickets dollars. Press screens were 2 weeks before opening, spring break, some people out of town, nice weather. Those are all good things those are worth mentioning. It was spring break, good weather. I think those were factors we haven't factored in, but I think you might be right about that. But they never expected Shazam to break the bank. It was never supposed to make $100 million. It made what they thought it was going to make and a little more. It's going to be interesting to see what the second week is like. That's where we're going to see what's up. Luke Blackwell says, just watch The Dark Knight again. Why do you think the Joker told multiple different stories as to how he got his scars? Because the Joker, he's all about chaos. He doesn't want anyone to know where he came from. He might have done that to himself. He doesn't want anyone to know. And by keeping his background mysterious, no one will ever know where he came from. I mean, Joker is all about creating chaos. At least Ledger's Joker is. He does not want to know anything. No one should know about where he came from. He's a total mystery man, like Clint Eastwood's Man with No Name in the Sergio Leone trilogy. Yeah, I love that about him. He's going to tell a different story till the day he dies. David Lillian says, do you think Captain Marvel could die in the first act? Also, have you seen the YouTube fan-made Endgame end credit scene that references Galactus? Yes. First of all, yes, David, I did watch that end scene that references Galactus, but I'm like, what? It was a cloud again. It was a purple cloud. Lightning. Give me some more than that. That is not a satisfying ending. Fans can do better. I don't think Captain Marvel's going to die in the first act. I don't think so. I think she needs to get beaten, within an inch of her life, so we know exactly how powerful Thanos really is, and that Captain Marvel cannot save us. There's this idea. I've never thought Captain Marvel would save us, but let's see it firsthand. Writer Girl says, over or under 10% the Inhumans will be reintroduced into the MCU, maybe as Fantastic Four villains at first, and then popular if they get their own movie. That's actually not a bad way to go. It's really funny. Anson Mount is playing Captain Pike on Star Trek Discovery now, and he's terrific. And watching him, I'm like, I'm really sorry that he was dealt the hand he was dealt with for the TV show of the Inhumans, because man, he deserved better. I'd like it if they did that. I really would. I think that's a really good idea. We'll see. Putting them in the Fantastic Four movie is a really good idea. But I really like the characters of the Inhumans, and I really like Black Bolt, and I'd love to see them done correctly. But I think it's a way to go. Neil the Sphinx said, "A lot were laughing in my showing of Pet Sematary. That's not good. Was it nervous laughter because they're killing kids, or not? But I can see, that I can see that, and then maybe that's why it didn't make as much money as it should have." Stephen Rondeleone says, "Seeing Endgame Thursday, Friday, and Sunday." Sunday will be my first time seeing a movie in an AMC Dolby Atmos theater, and I can't freaking wait. Steven, dude, you are in for one heck of a beautiful experience, man. Seeing a movie in a Dolby Atmos theater, an AMC Dolby Atmos theater, it rocks the house. You will love it. You'll never want to see a movie anywhere else except in a giant IMAX theater, like at the Chinese Theater on Hollywood Boulevard. But you're gonna have a great time. I love that you're seeing it Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. What about Saturday? Why not Saturday? Dirk Walker says, "I thought I was going to love Shazam. I was super hyped. I liked it, but I didn't love it. I was right there with you. Second act was great, but third act was boring to me." Oh, really? I like the third act. I thought when that twist happened, I was so happy. But I thought it was, I liked it. I didn't love it. I was like, okay. But you don't have to apologize for that. That's what makes the world go round. Everyone should have a different opinion, and you're true to yourself. That's what matters. Benjamin Bacassi. Bacassi. I like that. Benjamin Bacassi. Favorite comic book movies. Do you think that Endgame will dethrone it? Well, first of all, I'll tell you some of my favorite comic book movies. Superman. I'm not in no particular order. Superman the movie. Batman Returns. I guess it's in release order. The Crow. Love The Crow. Blade. The first Blade. First X-Men. Second X-Men. First Sam Raimi Spider-Man. Loved Iron Man. Loved Captain America Winter Soldier and the first Avenger. Actually, I've loved all three Captain America movies. Love the three Avengers movies. Those are probably my favorites. But since you're asking about comic book movies, here's a few more. I love Road to Perdition, based on a graphic novel. I love Ghost World, based on a graphic novel. Big fans of those things. So yeah, those are some of my favorites. I think Endgame, Infinity War is definitely one of my favorite comic book movies. Oh, by the way, I love Dark Knight. I love Nolan's. Actually, I love all three of Nolan's movies, despite the fact Dark Knight Rises has faults. Do like those movies a lot. Do like them a great deal. So yeah. But I think Endgame's going to be bananas, and I can't wait. Victor Manuel Bolaños. Bolaños? Oh, wait. Victor Manuel Bolaños. "Hi, John. Over under 60% chances we get that big all heroes versus Thanos standoff at Endgame." Victor, dude, we're going to get it. We're going to get the ultimate superhero battle. I think it's going to be like nothing we've ever seen. That's what I'm expecting. Terry Flynn is Terry Flynn from England. Terry Flynn, who's a good fan. I love Terry. R&B, "How will your mom troll you?" My mom doesn't know about trolling. What you're going to have to do is goad her into trolling me. For those of you who don't know what Terry means, on Thursday, when my mom turns 80, I'm going to have her on my own show, on my own channel, Robservation. She's going to be my first guest on my live chats, and people can ask questions. What's it like to raise a kid like me? How do you stop your kid from becoming a geek? Or if your kid is a geek, what do you do? Nancy Burnett, on her 80th birthday, is going to tell you guys. Should be fun. Marcus Robert Johnson says, "Opposite of heavy horror, pop horror." Ooh, I like that. For those of you who don't know, I hit on something today that John had said. He was saying heavier. He said something along the lines of horror movies being heavier. And it struck me. I'm like, that's a really great term. So I told John, I said, I like the idea that we were talking about Pet Sematary, movies like The Witch and Hereditary are more what I would call heavy horror, where movies like It are more pop horror. They're still scary, but you're still dealing with Pennywise, a creature, a crazy clown that's actually this. Well, I won't tell you what it is because you have to see It Chapter 2 to find out. But they're fun. Whereas Hereditary, when you start doing things like in Pet Sematary, when kids are getting killed and it's really, really heavy stuff and really serious, that's heavy horror. and pop horror. Marcus Robert Johnson, you are onto something, sir. I like that idea. Pop horror and heavy horror. What kind of horror is your favorite and why? I'm a heavy horror guy, but I love my pop horror too. I'm just attracted to heavy horror. Nate Jones says, Endgame plot gets Dragon Balls to wish back dusted. I guess you're going to get Dragon Balls to wish back the dusted. I guess that's what happened in Dragon Ball Z. I am so not up on that, but I don't know if you could wish back the dusted. Could you? I don't know. Maybe you could. Orlando Ramirez says, have you heard any news on the Raid 3? Or as I like to say, the Rad. And the Rad 2, even radder. The first two movies were so amazing. What's taking so long? I have not heard anything about the Raid, but you know, he made what has he made? The Apostle, Gareth Evans, or Gareth Edwards. Is it Evans? Gareth Evans. He made The Apostle for that's on Netflix, which was a pretty interesting movie. But I'd love to see a third Raid or a Rad, because they are rad. If you guys haven't seen the Raid or the Raid 2 Barandal, what are you waiting for? They're bananas Indonesian martial arts movies where I swear to God, people actually died making them. They didn't, but it looks like they did. You guys should check them out because they are bananas. Brandon says, hi, how long till we get Secret Wars? I don't know. The Russo brothers are talking about it. They like Secret Wars. They talked about it today or over the weekend in an interview. I don't know, but are they going to bring out the Beyonder? The Beyonder would be pretty wacky. Although, you know what? Wouldn't it be cool if Jeff Goldblum's Grandmaster came back and he was the impresario that started Secret Wars? That could be pretty dope. I know people are going, no, don't do that. We have to the Beyonder. I don't know. He is the Grandmaster. Victor Manuel Bolaños is back. He says, hey, Rob, big fan. If you could only have one of these two moments, Tony dying in Peter's arms and giving him the with great power speech, or Cap lifting Stormbreaker Mjolnir, or, you know, why not both? Why both? You know what? If Cap has to lift Stormbreaker and he's actually able to do it, and that's how he goes out, I think I might want that, because that would be unbelievable to me. Because the great power speech, that's fine. I don't want to see something. I want to see a moment where I'm just blown away, where not only is it the moment where he could wield Stormbreaker, but if he could just do, like, take Thanos out or whatever, winning the whole thing, the whole kit and caboodle, and that's the last thing that Steve Rogers ever does. Man, that would be cool. So I'm going to go with Stormbreaker Mjolnir, and I'm going to take that. Cap lifting it and then wrecking shop. That'd be great. Well, everyone, thank you very much for letting me fill in for John and doing this additional chat. I want to thank, from both of us, both John and I, thank you for your very generous support on this channel, and thanks for being here, and thanks for being part of John's community here on the John Campea Show, the greatest movie show on the internet. I always wanted to do that. I've done it twice now. It's great. I am your substitute host, Robert Meyer Burnett. You can find me always on Twitter at BurnettRM. Find me on Instagram at RMBurnett, or find me on my YouTube channel, The Burnettwork, and its adjacent website, theburnettwork.net. Thanks for being here, everybody. Thanks for listening to this, and I appreciate your time. And hopefully John will be back at 100%, and he will be answering questions again and doing what he does best. So as John would say, until next time, bye-bye.